Apocalypse ruined plants vs. zombies. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 75, Thunder King. If the Thunder King does this, he will run out of ammunition and food sooner or later. Then he will have to launch general attacks on other cities to plunder their supplies. But after all, supplies are already non-renewable. So this then will probably happen soon. And what about Su Lin? He has a farm. He can regenerate food and drinking water. The boy was stunned. No, you are my savior. I can't watch you die in vain. I have something to ask him. Tell me quickly. Well, it's in the commercial square in the city center. He treats the entire commercial square as his castle. Okay, I know. Su Lin nodded and then took out some food from the space pocket again. Take these, although not much, but I guarantee you will eat for 2 or 3 days. Brother. The boy swallowed his saliva. Although he was full, but he was really hungry for too long. The boy's eyes glowed green again. Can you give me more? Over there in the air raid shelter. The boy lowered his head and made a mosquito-like sound. No. Su Lin refused mercilessly. I don't have much left. I have my own partners. Well, thank you, big brother. No, I'll give you a suggestion. Stay alive and leave the air raid shelter. These foods are enough for you to survive for a few days. Just rely on these few days to find a way to survive. After that, Su Lin turned around and left. In fact, he still had a lot of reserve food in his space pocket. But, he knew, it is better to teach a man how to fish than to give him a fish. What's more, if he left too much food for the boy, it would inevitably cause trouble. If it got on the boy, it would also burn Su Lin himself. In addition, he was not a good man, so he just gave enough for his own good intentions. It was so difficult to protect himself that he had no time to care about others. He even prepared a few days of extra food. He was kind enough. After figuring out what was happening in Chaoshu City at this time, Su Lin walked out swaggeringly. Anyway, these patrols did not have the ability to release lightning as expected. They are just small characters. Su Lin, who is swaggering, is hard to be noticed. A group of patrol officers soon noticed Su Lin's presence. Hey, that guy over there. Who are you? As soon as the voice fell, Su Lin ran away. Damn it, I miscalculated. Now the whole Chaoshu City is in the hands of the Thunder King. Su Lin cursed. He overlooked one thing. The Thunder King has the whole Chaoshu City in his pocket, including the only 2 groups of people with weapons in the city. The police and the army. The group of people just now. Not to mention the captain who led the group. The rest of them all held extremely sharp machetes in their hands. They were real gangsters. And the tall and mighty captain in the lead was holding a submachine gun. A real submachine gun. Now seeing the gun, Su Lin himself was scared. He thought he could walk sideways with a small pistol with unlimited bullets. Who would have thought the other party would just pull out a big gun? Run. Su Lin, panting heavily, hid on the 2nd floor of a building. While resting, he complained. What am I thinking? I, the King of Thunder and Lightning, will definitely do my best to arm his guards. It's not safe enough for everyone to have a gun, so it's not too much for the leader to have a gun. I thought they were all small soldiers and crab generals, but I didn't expect that they almost died before they could achieve their goals. After swallowing his saliva, Su Lin, who regrouped, quickly came up with a countermeasure. Now he had to sneak into the so-called commercial plaza. As for what kind of heavy guards would be on that commercial plaza, that would be a matter for the time being. After taking a deep breath, Su Lin secretly popped his head out, glanced in the direction of the city center, and looked around for a while, and then confirmed that the surroundings were temporarily safe. He ran downstairs without stopping. This feeling is like a dream back to yesterday. It was as exciting as stealing explosives at a military base. But it's much easier here than the military base. After all, this is a whole city. Whether it's the area or the places to hide, it's much easier than the military base. In addition, the quality of the patrol personnel here is here. The guards are naturally far inferior to the well-trained soldiers in the military base. Soon, Su Lin arrived at the city center. The so-called commercial square is right in front of him. And the Thunder King is in front. It's just as imagined. Full of patrol guards. It seems that, although Chaoshu City has been taken over, but the Thunder King is still very afraid that his hegemony will be stolen by others. Su Lin pursed his lips. After thinking for a moment, he decided to come down from the sky. Just right. The buildings here are very dense. If it was the previous physical fitness, it would be impossible. But Su Lin believes that he can do it now. After choosing a high-rise building relatively close to the square, Su Lin climbed up in one breath. Coming to the rooftop, he kicked the door open. The sharp wind was howling. This building must be 8 stories high. The square is about 6 stories high. The distance between the two must be several dozen meters. Fortunately, this square is a diamond-shaped square, which means that, as long as Su Lin jumps hard, jumps onto the long pillar at the edge, and then climbs over with all his strength, he can get there. It's easy to say. When Su Lin came to the edge of the rooftop, feeling the distance and height, his legs couldn't stop shaking. No. Su Lin gritted his teeth. When he thought that Zhang Xianming would come with the army of Chunfeng City tomorrow, he knew that he had no way out. He could only go forward bravely. Electric green tea, Laozi, I must get it. Since I awakened the Plants vs. Zombies system, there has been no plant that I can't fuse. What lotus, what flame, what dragon, I can get them all. It's just thunder and lightning, what's the big deal? After making up his mind, Su Lin retreated again and again, until he reached the edge. He bent down, bent his knees, and suddenly exerted force on his right foot, and ran up. Run, run, run. Finally, at the edge of the rooftop, he jumped out with all his might. The wind whizzed by, but no one noticed. If someone looked up at this time, they would probably be paralyzed on the ground with fear. Because Superman appeared, he jumped directly from the side of the high-rise building to the edge pillar of the square. He held the pillar tightly. Chapter 76, A Cool Appearance. Fuck you. Who Su Lin held the pillar tightly with both hands. He dared not let go even if he died. If he let go, there would be only one consequence. That is falling down and being smashed into a pulp. It's that simple. He exerted force with both hands and climbed up with difficulty. At least he could sit on the pillar first to recover his strength. Oh my god. I really did it. Su Lin looked back. To be honest, this is really an unimaginable distance. He believed that in the whole world, only he could do it. Only he who had undergone body training and greatly improved his physical fitness could do it. Any world champion level long jumper or parkour master would not be able to do it. Then keep moving forward. In order to avoid falling from a high altitude, Su Lin was naturally not stupid enough to stand up and move forward along the pillar. If he sat on the pillar, moved his buttocks, and moved forward slowly, he was worried that he would swing and fall directly. In the end, he held the pillar tightly with both hands. The whole body was suspended in the air. He climbed up with the strength of his arms. Finally, after a lot of effort, Su Lin finally passed through the long pillar and successfully reached the rooftop of the square. After a short rest, he set off again. He followed the fire escape and went directly to the 6th floor of the square. The lights were still on, but it was no longer as lively as before. Instead, it seemed very empty. Unexpectedly, the outside of the square was full of guards patrolling. But the square was so quiet. After observing for a while, Su Lin had only one impression of the Thunder King. That was awesome. It was really awesome. He transformed the square into a palace castle suitable for a luxurious life. The Thunder King directly stacked all the valuables, furniture, and sofas in the mall together. The entire first floor was turned into a large bungalow that could be lived in. The second, third, fourth and fifth floors were all filled with various food and drinking water supplies. Su Lin even saw the hollowed out cellar on the ground through the central vertical lobby. I'm afraid that the Thunder King had thought of a way to directly hollow out the ground, and there should be various survival supplies stored inside. TSK. This Thunder King. Does he really not trust others? Su Lin raised his eyebrows. If he became the absolute king of one city, one person, he would never store supplies like this. If the enemy burned them all, there would be nothing left. I'm afraid the Thunder King didn't know that eggs can't be put in the same cage. Just as Su Lin was silently observing the layout of the square, a footstep came and attracted his attention. A figure walked in from outside. Su Lin was somewhat familiar with this figure. It seemed that he had seen his patrol team outside just now. That figure was the captain holding a submachine gun. The captain was seen twisting a boy. Wasn't he the poor boy who attacked Su Lin and gave him the information? What's going on? Why is he here? Su Lin frowned. He had a bad feeling. The captain walked in with the boy twisted. This didn't look good at all. Sir. The captain came in respectfully. What? At this time, a tall and burly middle-aged man slowly floated down from the second floor platform. Should I say, he walked down directly from the second floor, walking in the air. It was not because of a sizzling sound that swept the entire square. This middle-aged man was probably the legendary Thunder King, and the way he came down from the second floor was to control the thunder and lightning and gather them into a thunder and lightning staircase. Walking down on the thunder and lightning, Su Lin himself was a little confused. It was not because he was afraid of this Thunder King or something. It was just that the way this person appeared was too cool. Falling from the sky, stepping on lightning. However, Su Lin also keenly discovered one thing. I don't know if there were levels for superpowers before. At least from the current perspective, the Thunder King's control of superpowers is far better than Yan Wu's. Anyway, the Thunder King himself is not afraid of lightning, or in other words, he is not afraid of the lightning he releases. But Yan Wu is different. It feels like Yan Wu is afraid of fire, even his own fire. Tell me, what's the matter? I remember you are from the 20th team. Yes, sir. I'm the captain of the 20th team. Lan, enough. It's none of my business. Tell me, what's the matter? You know, disturbing my sleep is a very serious crime. You'd better tell me what's the matter now, otherwise. I saw. The Thunder King snapped his fingers. A small lightning flashed on the tip of his finger. Su Lin's eyes were straight. Isn't this small lightning exactly what he dreamed of? It would be great if the King of Thunder could give him some. Sir. The captain half knelt on the ground. He was sweating profusely. It was obvious that he was very afraid of the King of Thunder. TSK. Su Lin silently complained. Why do these people, after gaining superpowers and becoming superpowers, all want to bully the weak? Yan Wu has created a sect. What has he created here? But looking at the horrified expression on the captain's face, I'm afraid the King of Thunder is a ruthless character. He has made a ruthless move and made fear deeply imprinted in the hearts of his men. Speak. Sir, when I was patrolling the periphery just now, I noticed a sneaky person. No. It should be said that he was a swaggering person. I'm afraid he came from another city. When I called him, I don't know why, he ran away immediately. It felt like he was swaggering and indifferent, and then suddenly panicked. The captain pursed his lips. This feeling was indeed too weird. That's why he was so cautious and so ostentatious. Su Lin raised his eyebrows. He also knew that the person the captain was talking about was exactly himself. But what did this have to do with the young man? Oh, then didn't you catch him? The Thunder King asked back. No, this person is from Archeoshu City. We caught him nearby. He was also sneaky. After a few punches, he told us the information neatly. It is said that there is a young man who came from outside. He has a lot of food and drinking water on him. He came to find you. First, he is not going to die, and second, he is not going to surrender to you. I feel something is wrong, so I caught this kid. Chapter 77, Thunder Eagle Kingdom. Su Lin listened to the captain's speech expressionlessly. He had actually been prepared for such a betrayal. The boy had no relatives or friends with him. It was nothing to say. But at this moment, a different emotion was rippling in Su Lin's heart, because the boy's face was bruised. It seemed that he must have suffered great injustice and torture just now. It had nothing to do with Su Lin. No way. That's not the case. After all, if the boy hadn't met Su Lin, he should have been spared this beating. At the same time, it might have avoided the unknown situation that would happen next. However, if Su Lin hadn't given the boy those food and drinking water, I don't know if the boy could survive. Su Lin shrugged his shoulders for this matter. It was a settlement. He was not the kind of indecisive person. At this time, the boy was waiting for the Thunder King with a strange look. It was hard to tell whether this look was anger, fear, or disgust. He hummed softly in a low voice. "That's my food. Give it back to me." "Oh." The Thunder King raised his eyebrows. "What food? That?" The captain was stunned. Of course he knew what it was. Just now, there was a round of punches and kicks. This poor young boy had told everything a long time ago. Seeing that the young boy took out so many fresh foods, he had bad intentions. Naturally, he took them all. But I didn't expect the boy would burst out. Question mark? This man. He took away my food. And drinking water. You bunch of robbers. The boy, who was like a desperate struggle, could no longer suppress his anger. His resolute eyes were full of fearlessness. "Oh." The Thunder King raised his eyebrows. He looked straight at the captain. "No, sir. Listen to my explanation. Listen to my explanation." After a sneer, the Thunder King snapped his fingers and a small lightning bolt hit the captain, knocking him away. Su Lin's eyes widened. If this little lightning was given to him, how great it would be. In order to synthesize electric green tea, he himself became a bit masochistic. The miserable captain half knelt on the ground. With a painful look on his face, he trembled and took out all the things he had just exploited from his backpack. "My lord. I just store them for you." The Thunder King narrowed his eyes and sneered. "It seems that you still don't repent, so starve for a few days." The captain opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but after seeing the sharp eyes of the Thunder King, he immediately lost his temper. He didn't dare to say anything anymore. Then, the Thunder King also walked up to the boy. "Little boy, you are wrong. These foods are mine, not yours." Even though there were countless supplies piled up in the entire commercial plaza. But the Thunder King was still not satisfied. He even wanted mosquito legs. Or meat. The boy was about to refuse something. But the Thunder King snapped his fingers and was electrocuted numb. When he stopped the thunder, the boy also twitched and foamed at the mouth. The Thunder King looked down at him and said, "Don't play dead. I left you a breath to ask you a question." Ahem. The boy gasped. His eyes, which were originally determined to die together, softened at this time. Only endless fear remained. It seems that he was scared of the electric shock. "Tell me, where did these foods come from?" "Yes, that person gave it to me." "Oh, really? Didn't you hide it yourself?" "No." "Then do you know that person?" "No." Then the boy also told how he met Su Lin and what happened. "In other words, he came to find me?" The Thunder King sneered. "I just don't know where he is now." At this point, the Thunder King looked around, as if he was looking for Su Lin to see if he would be here. Then can I leave?" The boy trembled. "Leave? Where to?" "Submit to me and be my subordinate, kid." "I won't." The young man stood up tenaciously. "Look at what you have done to Chaoshu City. Why should all the food and supplies in the city be given to you? Why should we submit to you and obey your instructions and orders?" Ha ha ha. After hearing this, the Thunder King laughed sarcastically. "Why? With strength, with fists. I have such strength, so you all have to submit to me. No. Not only that, I will conquer the whole world. Follow me, eat delicious food and drink spicy food. I will ensure that you survive this doomsday. You just need to submit to me. Sooner or later, I will rule the whole world and become the king of the world. Plant the flag of Thunder Eagle all over the world." Hearing Thunder Eagle, Su Lin raised his eyebrows. "No wonder. I always feel that this Thunder King sounds very familiar. In the previous life, Su Lin had heard of the name of Thunder Eagle. There are also several superpowers under his command. The King of Thunder and Lightning is Thunder Eagle. No, the King of Thunder Eagle Kingdom. In the hearts of refugees, the title of King of Thunder and Lightning is not familiar, but King Lei Tao is familiar. Lei Tao is the name of King of Thunder and Lightning. As far as Su Lin knows, the Kingdom of Thunder Eagle has captured dozens of cities, and it is a tyrant. The Kingdom of Thunder Eagle is very different from other salvation organizations. Lei Tao is going for domination. What he wants is very simple, to become the king of the world and rule the whole world. Save the world through supreme power. But Lei Tao is not brainless, at least those cities where salvation organizations have appeared or settled. He will not attack. At least not at that time. At least he has to wait until other cities that have become hell on earth and no one manages them are captured. But now, at this time, the Thunder Eagle Kingdom is in its infancy, still hanging around in Chaoshu City. Even the superpowers are only Lei Tao. I remember. Su Lin pursed his lips. Although Lei Tao is clear about rewards and punishments, and sympathizes with those poor people, he is decisive in killing people once he determines that they are enemies, and will not submit to him. Little ghost, this is your last chance. Submit to me, otherwise. After saying that, Lei Tao waved his hand, and a big knife made of lightning appeared in his palm. It seems blood is going to be seen. After hesitating for a moment, Su Lin slowly walked out from the pillar. I'm here. Chapter 78 Masochism. Who? Lei Tao raised his head suddenly and looked around. The person you want to find. Wait a minute, I'll go down first. Su Lin didn't have the cool and handsome way of appearing like Lei Tao. However, Su Lin suddenly flipped along the railing. He jumped directly from the 3rd floor. After landing, he rolled over several times to relieve the force. Su Lin stood up and patted his body. Hello. First meeting. My name is Su Lin. Lei Tao looked at Su Lin. He thought it was some fearless superpower who came to make trouble. But he didn't expect a fearless and agile young man to come this height. Lei Tao subconsciously looked up at the 3rd floor. Such a distance. Jumped directly. Question mark? Not dead yet. Question mark? Not disabled. Question mark? Lei Tao swallowed his saliva and asked himself. If it was him, he would probably be half dead. But this Su Lin was still very fierce. Before Lei Tao could react, the captain who was half kneeling on the ground suddenly shouted. Boy, who are you? You don't even kneel down when you see our Lord Thunder King. Shut up. The Thunder King rolled his eyes and said, did I ask you to speak? The captain was stunned. He didn't expect that he flattered the wrong person. He immediately lowered his head and said nothing. He was afraid of making the Thunder King angry again. Su Lin? Yeah, what do you want to see me for? I heard that a supernatural person who uses thunder and lightning appeared in Chaoshu City. I was curious and came to take a look. Hearing that you are not from Chaoshu City? No, in such a doomsday chaos, everyone is killing each other for a bite of food. You are so good that you come here just because of curiosity? Yeah, you are an idle person. Where is the food and drinking water? Anything else? Hand it all over, and I will guarantee that you will not die. Lei Tao said coldly. No matter what Su Lin plans to do, Lei Tao will never let go of what he should get. It's long gone. Su Lin shrugged. By the way, I haven't asked you yet, what's your name? Thunder King, it's just a title. You're called Lei Tao, right? Lei Tao was stunned. How do you know? Did we know each other before? No, I just heard about it. Lei Tao snorted coldly and raised his head slightly, as if looking at Su Lin with his nose. He said condescendingly, since you have no food or drinking water, who gave you the courage to come and see me? I did it myself. Su Lin grinned. Come on, hit me quickly. You are not very arrogant and powerful. Come on, hit me here. Su Lin pointed at his face. He tried to provoke Lei Tao so that he could get thunder and lightning smoothly. Sure enough, Su Lin's words that deserved a beating angered Lei Tao. But Lei Tao felt a little uncomfortable. Since awakening the thunder and lightning ability, others were all afraid of him and just wanted to avoid Lei Tao as soon as possible so as not to be sizzled by his lightning. Su Lin might have some special fetish, but since others have said so much, if they don't take action, you don't know what's good for you. I thought you were a guest from afar, so I'll spare your life for now. Lei Tao sneered and slowly pointed his hand at Su Lin. It seems that I have to teach you a lesson before you know how to be afraid. A snap of the fingers. A small lightning dragon whizzed out from Lei Tao's palm. It rushed directly towards Su Lin. Su Lin didn't show the same frightened expression as others. On the contrary, he was so excited. I didn't expect it to be so simple. Electric green tea, at your fingertips. Su Lin showed a pervert-like enjoyment expression, opened his arms, and welcomed the lightning dragon in front of him. Boom. A loud bang. Poor kid. It was blown away directly. Su Lin, whose body was burnt black, lay on the ground, motionless. TSK. Lei Tao rolled his eyes. I thought he was so amazing and thought he had some special abilities, but this is it? I'm afraid he is disappointed with this world and wants to die. As soon as the voice fell, Su Lin jumped up suddenly. Cool. Ha ha ha. So cool. At this time, there were still countless small lightning bolts running around on Su Lin's body. Although his whole body was burned by the electricity, he could smell the burning smell. But Su Lin seized the moment when the lightning touched him. At the same time, he took out the Tangai green tea bottle that had been prepared in his space pocket. And at the moment, when the bottle touched the lightning, in that instant, Su Lin waited for the long-awaited prompt sound. Ding, congratulations on collecting all the materials and unlocking electric green tea. Ding, congratulations on unlocking electric green tea, gaining 150 experience points and 1200 sunshine points. Plant, electric green tea. Description, it can cause damage to all zombies within a 3x3 range, and will release high damage lightning after being eaten by zombies. Sunlight. 125 damage. 20 attack range. 3x3, cooling time. 15 seconds, quality, orange. I want to be eaten. I need to be eaten. Electric green tea said, but I was very happy that I could electrocute nearby zombies at that time. Electric green tea can barely be considered a melee plant. If it is paired with nuts, it can often work wonders. After all, it has a 3x3 attack range. Just like the fire dragon grass. After choosing a perfect position, you can ravage the poor zombies. In addition, electric green tea also has a self-destruct effect. Once you are eaten by zombies, you can directly burst out high-intensity damage. Then Su Lin was blown away by the thunder dragon. However, since the materials have been collected, I have successfully obtained the electric green tea. Everything is worth it. In excitement, Su Lin forgot the pain and laughed arrogantly like a happy kid. Lei Tao was stunned. He was really a pervert. He was electrocuted and blackened, but he was still laughing. What a psychopath. Psychopath. Lei Tao gritted his teeth. It was the first time he met such a psychopath. He didn't know how to deal with it. But since he is a pervert, he must increase the intensity. After finally figuring it out, Lei Tao raised his hand and aimed at Su Lin, and it seemed that he was going to attack again. Wait. That's enough. Su Lin reacted and stopped him again and again. I'm not a masochist. It's enough to be electrocuted once. I see you still enjoy it. No way, but you are worthy of being the king of thunder and lightning. I have seen it. I admire you. Chapter 79. Flattery. Now that you've seen it, then tell me what you want to talk to me about. Lei Tao narrowed his eyes and stared at Su Lin. He really couldn't understand the psychopath in front of him, so he was quite wary of Su Lin. The most important thing is whether you are a superpower. No. Su Lin shrugged. Superpower? A person with superpowers? Su Lin will never be able to be one in this life. The premise of having superpowers is that you must eat food and drink water affected by radiation. Only in this way can you have a gene mutation. Of course, this gene mutation is a matter of probability, a very small probability. First of all, no one can guarantee what this gene mutation means. Secondly, in addition to gene mutation, most people who eat irradiated food will vomit and have diarrhea, and their faces will be haggard. But after having the farm, Su Lin eats and drinks green and healthy food without any problems. He is in good health. Under such circumstances, Su Lin will never be a superpower. Oh. Lei Tao raised his eyebrows. Not a superpower. How can he jump from the 3rd floor and be blown up by a lightning dragon without any harm? Question mark? Who are you kidding? Lei Tao looked at Su Lin vigilantly. He had already revealed his lightning power, but Su Lin was still like a deep sea, not knowing the depth. Then tell me, what is the matter with you looking for me? I told you everything, because I was curious. Oh, I met Yan Wu from Chunfeng City before. He is the leader of the Vulcan Fortress and a superpower who uses fire. He told me you were here. I really want to know what it is like to control lightning, so I came to see. After watching it, awesome. Very good. Since the electric green tea has been synthesized, there is no need for Su Lin to stay here any longer. What I want to think about now is how to leave here and leave safely. I don't know what the ultimate goal is, Lord Lightning King. Lightning abilities like this can be called the absolute force in this new world. No matter what kind of abilities, they can never be your opponent. By then, the whole world will be at your fingertips. The direction of the world is all under your control, but Su Lin's skill in flattery is also amazing. In just a few words, he completely attracted Lei Tao's attention. He showed a flickering look and stared at Su Lin, wishing that he could say, "But what?" But I hope that Lord Lightning King can be kinder and less bloody by then. But it's not right for me to say that. After all, this city and this world are all yours. We are powerless and have no right to ask what you want to do with them. But still, I still hope that the great Lord Lightning King can be gentler to his property. Su Lin's face was full of smiles and his eyes were full of sincere emotions. Such flattery skills can be called a heart-wrenching blow. Lei Tao's face turned red due to the praise. If there were no subordinates beside him, he would have rushed over to call Su Lin his brother. HMPH. Lei Tao snorted arrogantly. You are good at talking. In other words, you plan to come to me and join me? That's not true. Su Lin was stunned for a moment, then immediately reacted. Lei Tao's catchphrase is probably submit to me and join me. He really intends to conquer everyone and the whole world. It's just that I still have some supplies in other cities. Of course, the most important thing is my relatives and friends. I want to bring them here. Is that okay? Of course. Lei Tao waved his hand. He looked like he was swearing to be a father all over the world. No matter who it is, I welcome you. Submit to me and join me. You just need to shout my name and leave the rest to me. After a long and powerful speech, Lei Tao's emotions were extremely high. He is indeed a person who is blinded by the desire for power. Then I will go and pick them up. Then I will trouble Lord Thunder King to take us in. Ha ha ha. Speaking of this, Su Lin, if I'm not too busy here, I will definitely send someone to escort you. You should go and come back quickly. Okay, no problem. Su Lin smiled. He didn't expect to succeed in tricking so easily. Then he came to the boy who was still half kneeling on the ground with an unwilling look on his face. The boy realized that Su Lin had come and lowered his head in shame. He didn't know how much of what he had just said Su Lin actually heard. In any case, the boy felt that he had betrayed Su Lin. Originally, after being beaten and kicked, the boy had already told Su Lin about his acquaintance. He thought he would never see Su Lin again in his life, but he did. And at this most embarrassing time. It's okay. Su Lin broke the silence. The boy was stunned. Slowly raised his head. His eyes were filled with disbelief and incomprehension. I know what you are thinking. Su Lin smiled kindly. It's not really a betrayal. After all, the situation was critical at the time. You looked so bruised and swollen. You can tell how much you suffered. Besides, we are not familiar with each other. We are just passers-by. The information you revealed has no big impact on me. Besides, I came here for the Thunder King. It's only a matter of time. So, at this point, as if to ease the uneasiness in the boy's heart, Su Lin smiled even more brightly. Didn't I tell you that I hope you can find a way to survive in this world? At least, joining the Thunder King is also a good choice. Tell me your name, at least. The boy was stunned. His eyes were red in an instant. He really didn't know how to face the lifesaver who gave him food. My name is Kangxin. Kangxin? What a nice name. Hello, little friend. I'm Su Lin. Let's. Su Lin lowered his voice and said, see you later. Before Kangxin understood what Su Lin said, Su Lin had already looked at the Thunder King. I'll leave first. See you later, goodbye. The Thunder King smiled and looked at Su Lin's departing back. He had secretly made up his mind. When Su Lin came back, he must become his sworn brother. It had been a long time since he met such a satisfying person. Chapter 80 Returning home and preparing for advancement. Will Su Lin come back? The answer is of course no. Why come back? Isn't it nice to eat and drink well on your own farm? Come here, live a hard life. Have to look at Lei Tao's face? You must be crazy to come here. But Lei Tao, who was kept in the dark, naturally didn't know. He was still full of joy. He specially issued an order to let the patrol guards outside pay attention and not hurt Su Lin. Let him leave here safely. When Su Lin walked out of the commercial square, Looking at the guards who gradually gathered in front of him, after receiving the order, they dispersed one by one. He breathed a long sigh of relief. He said to himself, finally I came out alive. Sure enough, people, as long as they get a certain status and rights, they like to be flattered the most. But I really admire this Lei Tao. These few words made him happy. TSK. Su Lin shook his head and left Chaoshu City while complaining. What I saw along the way, all those who surrendered to Lei Tao and joined his guards, although they were not very rosy, they were not starving and yellow-faced. In such a doomsday, all the materials collected were consumables and could not be replenished. Lei Tao was able to take care of so many people, which was already very good. I just hope that the boy named Kang Xing can think it through and bring the refugees in the underground air raid shelter to join Lei Tao. At least there is a way to survive. Finally, Su Lin rode his beloved motorcycle, drove away from Chaoshu City, and returned to Chunfeng City. This trip was full of gains. Not only did he get the electric green tea, but he also learned about the situation of Chaoshu City. He also realized that the Thunder Eagle Kingdom would have great power in the future and even become a king. Speaking of which, Su Lin frowned. Suddenly remembered something. If the development in the previous life is the same, Liang Crossing would have established a large-scale salvation organization called Glory of Humanity. But if Liang Crossing continues to stay on the farm, then there will be no Glory of Humanity as a salvation organization. Su Lin pursed his lips. He didn't want to create a salvation organization. First, brilliant light, to some extent, restricted the number of people who could enter the farm. Second, he was not a great saint. He just wanted to keep himself alive and protect the important companions around him. Forget it, let's take it one step at a time. We can't drive Liang Crossing away and let her go out to create a salvation organization by herself. After a while, Su Lin also returned to his small nest. It should be said to be a big nest. System, Plants vs. Zombies level, Farm LV17, Plants, Pea Shooter X5, Frozen Lettuce X5, Nuts X5, Sunflower X25, Sunshine Points. 6397, Planting Land. 40 Defense Value. 500 over 500, Experience Value. 234 over 1600, Ability, Extraction, Gold Coin Upgrade, Unlocked Plants, Sunflower, Pea Shooter, Vertical Fruit, Potato Bud, Cabbage Shooter, Frozen Lettuce, Torch Stump, Charm Mushroom, Kiwi, Boomerang Shooter, Vegetable Question, Energy Flower, Fire Dragon Grass, Cherry Bomb, Steel Ground Spike. Electric Green Tea, Unlocked Blueprints, Gold Coins. 630, Plant Advanced, Pea Shooter, Level 3, Cabbage Shooter, Level 3, Sunflower, Level 2, Kiwi, Level 2, Nuts, Level 3, Frozen Lettuce, Level 3, Vegetable Question, Level 2, Potato Mine, Level 3, Fire Dragon Grass, Level 3, Brilliant Light, LV to the farm of Level 17. It is actually a mana. After taking a look at the current sunlight points, Su Lin directly chose Coin Upgrade. He exchanged the sunlight points for coins. Thus, he started Plant Advancement. Brother, you are back. Su Yue, who was taking care of the plants on the edge of the land, interrupted Su Lin's thoughts. Yeah, it's still early today. Su Yue pouted. Su Lin was injured yesterday, and his arm was still bandaged. He ran out again today. It's really worrying. What's wrong? You are in such a bad condition, and you are always running around. Haha, there is nothing we can do about it. You are eating well, and living well here, and it is so safe. It's all because of me running around outside. Oh. Su Yue raised her eyebrows. She actually felt very puzzled about everything in this farm, like magic plants, monsters, and zombies, etc. She felt extremely unbelievable. Especially outside, when most people were about to starve to death. I'm here, enjoying the good life. Now it seems that my brother is going to tell it? Then you should tell me, why did you go out to do something, so that we can eat and drink well? It's a little secret. HMPH, I don't care. Su Yue pouted. Her eyes gradually turned red. Brother, if I eat less, will you not have to take such a big risk? Su Lin was stunned for a moment after hearing this. You. Su Lin stretched out his hand and gently stroked Su Yue's head. Silly girl, that's not the way to say it. I also know that you are worried about your brother. Your brother also promised you that I will not do anything too dangerous, okay? This Su Yue sighed and nodded helplessly. Then you must promise me that safety comes first, okay? That's for sure. Su Lin smiled. Come in, I'm going to cook and let you try the new dishes I learned. Hahaha, okay then. Push the door and enter. See Su Lin's safe return. Several friends also smiled. However, Xiao Wang and Xiao Hang smiled reluctantly. It was as if they were worried. Su Lin was busy upgrading the plants. He didn't notice the situation of the two of them. Let me think about it. Su Lin, who was sitting in the corner of the sofa, finally had the mind to sort out which plant to start with. Now, not enough. Not enough anyway. If the third level plants continue to be upgraded, there is not enough gold coins at all. Even if the second level is upgraded to the third level, it is very reluctant. Damn it. I have to think of a way to continue to earn gold coins or collect more sunlight points. Although the fourth level plants are very expensive, as long as there is a fourth level plant, the strength will rise rapidly. Then let's get more second level plants first. There was no other way. Su Lin had to start directly. The first plant to be upgraded was electric green tea. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 81 Level 8. Ding. Congratulations on the successful advancement. Electric green tea, level 2, obtain chain current. The biggest change among plants is when they first advance. In addition to being able to obtain an ability, there is also a 50% increase in attack and defense attributes. This is passive. In other words, no matter what the plant ability is, there will be this 50% increase in attack and defense attributes. The chain current obtained by electric green tea at level 2 has significantly improved its attack ability. There is a certain probability that when attacking, the zombie will carry an electric current, and then randomly eject 2 other zombies within the 3x3 range of the zombie, and can eject up to 2 zombies. Obviously, the chain current can make the electric green tea have a more significant improvement in attack range and attack ability. To put it bluntly, there is a certain probability of causing 1.5 times the damage, but this probability is still low. Forget it, let's go all out. Su Lin chose to advance again. He advanced the electric green tea to level 3. Ding. Congratulations on the successful upgrade. Electric green tea, level 3, get electric current enhancement. Electric current enhancement is actually a further enhancement of the ability chain current obtained at the second level. The triggering probability of chain current is enhanced. In this way, chain current has become the main output method of electric green tea. After a moment of contemplation, the next plant to be upgraded is cherry bomb. After all, I spent a lot of effort to obtain this cherry bomb. In addition, the cherry bomb can really launch a powerful attack and play a specific effect at a special time. So it is absolutely necessary to upgrade it. Ding. Congratulations on the successful upgrade. Cherry bomb, level 2, get mother and child cherry. Ding. Congratulations on the successful upgrade. Cherry bomb, level 3, get explosion expert. In addition to the 50% increase in all attributes on the original basis, the second level ability mother and child cherry makes the cherry bomb have a 50% chance of leaving a small cherry bomb after the explosion. The third level explosion expert can increase the triggering probability of mother child cherry to 100%. In other words, as long as the cherry bomb is planted, after it explodes successfully, it will definitely leave a small cherry bomb in the area where it is planted. The function of the small cherry bomb is similar to that of a potato mine. Once the target enters the area, it will explode with a boom. After upgrading the 2 plants to the 3rd level in one go, Su Lin also stretched his back. After lighting up a nicotine, he continued to carefully read the relevant introduction of the advanced plants. Finally, he decided to give the precious advancement opportunity to the steel ground spike. Ding. Congratulations on the successful advancement. Steel ground spike. Second level. Get paralysis. Ding. Congratulations on the successful advancement. Steel ground spike. Third level. Get improved piercing. In addition to the 50% all attribute improvement that comes with it, it also gains a new ability, paralysis. Just by looking at the word, you can know what the effect of paralysis is. It makes the steel spikes have a 20% chance of freezing zombies when attacking, and improved piercing increases the paralysis effect by 100%. It is to increase the original effect by another 100%. In other words, the steel spikes have about a 70% chance of paralyzing zombies. Not only can they restrict zombies and make them unable to move, but they can also continuously cause damage to them. At that time, it will be perfect when combined with some plants with melee capabilities. After the advancement, Su Lin also breathed a sigh of relief. System: Plants vs. Zombies level, Farm LV17, Plants, Pea Shooter X5, Frozen Lettuce X5, Nuts X5, Sunflower X25, Sunshine Points. 10 planting land. 40 defense value. 500 over 500 experience value. 334 over 1600 ability extraction gold coin upgrade unlocked plants sunflower pea shooter vertical fruit potato bud cabbage shooter frozen lettuce torch stump charm mushroom kiwi boomerang shooter vegetable question energy flower fire dragon grass cherry bomb steel ground spike. Electric green tea, unlocked blueprint, gold coin. 15 plant advancement, pea shooter, level 3, cabbage shooter, level 3, sunflower, level 2, kiwi, level 2, nuts, level 3, frozen lettuce, level 3, vegetable question, level 2. Potato mine, level 3, fire dragon grass, level 3, cherry bomb, level 3, steel ground spike, level 3, electric green tea, level 3, brilliant light, LV2. The next step is to see what will happen. He has a hunch. This system will never let him have an easy time. Yesterday's relaxation was just to get a night's rest and understand the next zombie situation. I'm afraid there will still be pirates coming to steal their land. Time ticked by. Finally, there was a knock on the door. Su Lin took a deep breath, stood up, and walked straight to the door. Prepare to welcome the arrival of zombies. Ding, 9th level, zombies are coming. Please be prepared. The number of zombies asterisk 40 ding. Please note that this level is in zero mode ding. Please note that the pirates are starting to board the ship. Ding, please pay attention, because the pirate zombies appeared. They temporarily stole the land. Ding, please pay attention. In the A, B, C area, the land from the 8th to the 6th row has been stolen. Su Lin rolled his eyes. That's it. Just as I thought. The same clearing mode as before. And the land has been stolen again. This time there are still 3 areas. In this way, only the E and D areas are complete. He planted a sunflower with a flick of his hand. The battle began. Ding, the brilliant light is triggered. Get 100 sunshine points. Great. Now facing the clearing mode. Su Lin is no longer as panicked and helpless as before. The brilliant light can already give him a lot of help, especially in this clearing mode. From time to time, rewarding some sunshine points can help Su Lin get through the most difficult times. With 100 sunshine points again, Su Lin planted 2 sunflowers in succession. The cooling time of the sunflower is short enough, so short that it only takes a moment. 3 sunflowers appeared on the edge of the farm, and the first sunflower has begun to produce sunlight points. With great luck, he directly had 100 sunlight points. At this time, the first wave of zombies has not arrived yet. Su Lin, who has 100 sunlight points, directly planted the first pea shooter. Naturally, he planted it in the still intact area. When the sunlight points are enough, he plans to plant torch stump in the 3rd row of the E area. This will form the first line of defense. Chapter 82 Sizzling Electric Green Tea. When he saw the location where the first zombie appeared, Su Lin couldn't help rolling his eyes. It appeared in Area D, an ordinary zombie. But it was not ordinary. If it was an ordinary zombie before, the pea shooter would have easily solved it. After all, the pea shooter is a 3rd level plant. But now all zombies are 2nd level. The panel attributes have been greatly improved. It is no longer as easy as before. The second sunflower brought 75 sunlight points. The first row of sunflowers in area E, which followed, brought 50 sunlight points. Enough. Su Lin planted the pea shooter in the second row of area D without stopping. With a puff, the pea shooter, that appeared directly on the ground, was a burst of puffs. Triggered the pea burst. Several peas directly covered the face of the ordinary zombie. But it only knocked off one of its arms. The ordinary zombie still walked slowly, fangs and claws. But Su Lin was not worried. The ordinary zombies have just reached the 7th row. There is still a long way to go. Relying on the few sunlight points in his hand, Su Lin quickly planted sunflowers in the first row of areas D and D in this way. The first row of all areas is full of sunflowers. The arsenal is ready, just waiting for the generation of sunlight points. And the second zombie also appeared. It happened to be in area E. There was already a pea shooter waiting in area E. Just need to. Not enough sunlight points. Don't plant it for now. There are pea shooters attacking areas E and D. Let's take care of the defense lines of areas A, B, and C first. Su Lin analyzed calmly. These 3 areas should still welcome the zipline zombies. They only need to use the zipline to swing directly over and swing to the position of the 5th row. This is already a very dangerous area. The funny thing is that the 3 areas A, B, and C are originally adjacent to each other. They can be called brothers in distress. Then, Su Lin decisively planted nuts in the 5th row of area B. Take a look. There are still a few more sunlight points. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. The defense line has not been officially arranged yet. Su Lin can't help but feel extremely nervous. The lack of sunlight points is always something Su Lin needs to worry about and trouble. Finally, Su Lin gathered 125 sunlight points. He directly planted a new plant, electric green tea, on the 4th row of area B. Sizzling. A swaying figure suddenly appeared in the 4th row. Its swaying posture is very graceful, and the sizzling lightning accompanies it. Seeing the shining appearance of this new plant, Su Lin finally breathed a sigh of relief. At least, A, B, and C, these 3 areas don't need to be paid attention to for the time being. After all, the attack range of electric green tea is a 3x3 area. Planting in the 4th row of area B means the 5th, 4th, and 3rd rows of areas A, B, and C. A square lightning array. No matter what kind of zombie is not afraid of death, as long as they dare to step into this area, electric green tea will attack directly. All zombies in the entire area will be electrocuted and sizzle. Not to mention that the 3rd level electric green tea also has the ability of chain current. As long as any zombie is electrocuted, the sizzling lightning will spread and attack more zombies. After ensuring the defense lines of these 3 areas, the big stone in Su Lin's heart finally fell. In this way, the preliminary defense lines of all areas have been successfully built. Next, we just have to wait for the response. After the first 2 ordinary zombies like appetizers were killed, 3 roadblock zombies and 2 iron barrel zombies appeared in areas D and D. Looking at the increasingly powerful formation, Su Lin had to tighten his belt decisively and plant a torch stump first. The blazing flame peas gave Su Lin a great sense of security. At the same time, the flying rope zombies also began to log in. The flying rope zombies rippling in the air often need to swing back and forth to successfully find a landing place. As long as they get close, the electric green tea will start working. After 2 rounds, the 3 flying rope zombies were all numbed by the electricity. The feat that just landed was staggering. The flying rope zombies in areas A and C were fine. They were able to move forward as soon as they landed. They just had to carry the numb lightning array to move forward. The flying rope zombies in area B not only had to face the lightning under their feet, but were also blocked by nuts and could not move. If they had known earlier, they might have chosen other areas to land. Although I don't know if they can hold on until they pass through this lightning array. But it's better than being blocked by nuts and unable to move. Seeing the flying rope zombies in areas A and B moving their trembling feet, they finally came to the 4th row area and were directly torn into pieces by the electricity. Su Lin was extremely excited. The situation is very good. What's more, he just got an energy beam. The sense of security is overflowing. He threw another torch crown in the third row of area E. The defense line was strengthened again. And just when everyone should have been celebrating, the flying rope zombies appeared again in areas A, B, and C. 3 of them came directly to one area. A total of 9. Seeing this, Su Lin planted fire dragon grass directly in the third row of area B. Coincidentally, the location where the flying rope zombies landed was also within the attack range of the fire dragon grass. Let's have a thunder and fire double world. The next thing is, Su Lin glanced over and saw the barrel zombies that appeared in areas D and E. Sure enough, there are barrel zombies. Fortunately, there are no plants planted in the front row. Barrel zombies can directly crush plants. Don't look at the distance. As long as you are careless, maybe the barrel zombies will come rolling over and crush the torch stumps in the third row. In addition, a flag zombie appeared in area D at this time. Su Lin also responded by planting steel ground spikes in the 8th row of D and E areas. In addition to constantly causing damage to zombies passing by, the 3rd level steel ground spikes have a certain chance of paralyzing zombies and making them unable to move. Not to mention, it is the best weapon to deal with barrel zombies. After each of them paid a spike, the steel ground spikes also directly destroyed the barrel zombie's barrel. The barrel was destroyed, and 2 little ghost zombies jumped out of it. They went to the upper and lower areas respectively, and continued to move forward. The unlucky ones must be the little ghost zombies in area D. One of them successfully jumped to area E, and what is the other one above area D? It is area C, and the first few rows of land in area C were stolen by the pirates. Where can it jump to? It just jumped in vain. The little ghost zombies with no landing point let out a howl and died directly. Chapter 83, Saving Money. I'm afraid it didn't even think of it. It was ready. It was thinking about how it would show its teeth when it jumped out of the barrel to scare its opponent. But it just disappeared with a plop. Ding, please pay attention. A large wave of zombies is coming. Come if you want. I'm not afraid. The defense line has been built. The defense ability has also been greatly improved. Su Lin was not afraid at all. And he had collected 3 energy beans. If there was any danger, he could just throw an energy bean and solve everything. But seeing the dark mass in front of him, Su Lin also felt a little pressured. After thinking for a while, he directly planted nuts on the 5th row of areas A and C. In this way, no matter how many flying rope zombies came, there was no need to be afraid. As for areas D and E, Su Lin sneered. He just didn't plant nuts. He just wanted more and more zombies to come from afar and gather more. That way he could kill them all at once. The 8th row had planted the steel ground spikes. Its ability paralysis restricted several zombies. The paralysis effect has a duration. When the paralysis effect is over, the zombies can regain their freedom and continue to move forward. However, what Su Lin was waiting for was this time difference. Some zombies were restricted and some were not. And the paralyzed zombies will continue to move forward when they recover. Originally, if there were no accidents, the zombies would not be so dense. Instead, they would disperse and move forward in an orderly manner according to the order in which they came in, and their own movement speed. How come it is not like now, where there are several zombies standing on one piece of land? Su Lin grinned and planted the cherry bomb directly in the center. Boom. There was a burst of fire and a large group of densely packed zombies were directly blown into ashes. Awesome. After all, so many zombies were killed at one time. Su Lin also felt very happy. At the same time, on the land area where the cherry bomb was planted, a small cherry bomb appeared. It was quietly waiting for the next unlucky zombie to step on it and then explode, giving it a shocking explosion. Ding, please pay attention. The last wave of zombies is coming. The last wave of zombies. Just survive this level. Su Lin held his breath and concentrated. After planting more appropriate plants on the remaining land one by one, he used the energy beans on the plants one by one. Under such a strong attack, the poor zombies couldn't even survive until the last energy bean was used. It was so easy at this level. Ding. Congratulations on clearing the 9th level. Ding. Cleared the level successfully and obtained 1800 sunshine points. Ding. Obtained 900 experience points. Ding. Obtained 500 gold coins. Ding. Congratulations on upgrading. Ding. Congratulations on unlocking corn pitcher and mistletoe ice fairy. Ding. Congratulations on reaching LV18. Please note that at LV20, the system will change, so stay tuned. Su Lin raised his eyebrows. He pushed the door open happily, ready to pick up the treasure chests scattered on the ground. But it's so easy. What will happen tomorrow? Su Lin pursed his lips. Easy? It's indeed easy. But that's because no new zombies have appeared. Who knows if tomorrow there will be a BIU sound. Many powerful new zombies will suddenly emerge. After shrugged. He also opened the treasure chests one by one. Ding, congratulations on getting 500 gold coins. Ding, congratulations on getting 500 gold coins. Ding, congratulations on getting 500 gold coins. 3 consecutive treasure chests, all gold coins. Could it be that the system thinks I'm poor and specially sent some money over? But what exactly is the change that the system just mentioned? Su Lin pursed his lips. He also became more and more interested in this so-called change. The system informed him in advance. It must be an extremely important change. Why think so much? Just work hard for it. You still need to continue upgrading. After shrugging his shoulders, Su Lin waved his hand and deployed his troops on the farm in front of him. Don't worry about that for now. Sunlight points are still very important. Plant sunflowers first. Then he planted pea shooter on the 8th row of all areas. He glanced at the panel attributes. System, plants vs. Zombies level, farm LV18, plants, pea shooter x5, sunflower x35, sunlight points. 1910, planting land. 40 defense value. 500 over 500, experience value. 101 over 1800, ability, extraction, gold coin upgrade, unlocked plants, sunflower, pea shooter, vertical fruit, potato bud, cabbage shooter, frozen lettuce, torch stump, charm mushroom, kiwi, boomerang shooter, K1, energy flower, fire dragon grass, cherry bomb, steel ground spike. Electric green tea, unlocked blueprints, corn pitcher, mistletoe ice fairy, gold coins. 2010, plant upgrades, pea shooter, level 3, cabbage shooter, level 3, sunflower, level 2, kiwi, level 2, nuts, level 3, frozen lettuce, level 3. Vegetable question, level 2, potato mine, level 3, fire dragon grass, level 3, cherry bomb, level 3, steel ground spike, level 3, electric green tea, level 3, brilliant light, LV2, seeing so many gold coins. Su Lin hesitated for a moment. He immediately decided to save money. Wouldn't it be great to have a level 4 plant? Question mark? It's still 2 levels away. Not only can we upgrade the brilliant light to LV3, but the system will also undergo changes. TSK. After smacking his lips, Su Lin turned back and prepared to go to bed early. After all, there is a guest coming tomorrow. Isn't it Zhang Xianming who is going to bring a large army to cause trouble? Stupid idiot, I have to wait for you to come before I can find materials. You better hurry up. As for the corn pitcher, Su Lin is determined to get it. This plant is very effective against zipline zombies or new types of zombies that may appear soon. But because of this guest, Su Lin can only wait. Wait until he is killed. After returning to the house, it was pitch black. It seems that there are no curious people tonight. Maybe he is used to Liang Crossing's curiosity. Without Liang Crossing's company tonight, he feels a little inexplicably empty. Sleep after stretching. Just as Su Lin was about to go up to the room, a light was turned on. Don't you plan to have a midnight snack before going upstairs? Liang Crossing's voice sounded, and she brought out a bowl of hot ramen. It turned out that she had been busy in the kitchen just now, just to make sure that Su Lin, who had just finished the battle, could have something to fill his stomach. Chapter 84, A Long Conversation. Su Lin looked at Liang Crossing in surprise. What are you doing? You're so tired. You were injured yesterday, and you're still busy today. I'm just rewarding you. You've worked hard, our head of the family. Ha ha ha. Su Lin laughed. It's really an honor to eat something cooked by Miss Liang herself. TSK, you said it's something I haven't cooked before. It's different. Su Lin shook his head. A warm current came over his heart. Of course it's different. Before, it was all big pot meals. Everyone ate together. But this time, Liang Crossing cooked it specifically for him. Still in such an early morning, Su Lin arched his nose and sat at the dining table, savoring the bowl of warm noodles carefully. Liang Crossing also sat down. It's a midnight snack. You can't just make one portion. The two of them tasted the steaming noodles in silence. In the end, Liang Crossing was the first to ask, "Did you go to Chunfeng City again today?" "No, I went to the next city, Chaoshu City." "Oh, where did you go?" "Yeah, I went there to find some things and meet some people." "Could it be an old lover? Another girl will come out to cause trouble for you later." Liang Crossing rolled his eyes. Chen Milan came to cause trouble yesterday, and it was still vivid in his mind. "No, I met a superpower user like Yan Wu. He is a lightning superpower user." "Huh? Why are there more and more superpower users now?" The TV news also talked about it today. Maybe it's because of the radioactive food, and the genes mutated after eating it. That's right. Speaking of which, we don't have this opportunity to mutate. Ha ha ha. Liang Crossing laughed and looked straight at Su Lin. That superpower user who uses lightning, what did he do in Chaoshu City?" Su Lin pursed his lips. He saw something different in Liang Crossing's eyes. It can't be said to be envy. It can't be said to be curiosity. There is a feeling of longing. Su Lin sighed. Although Liang Crossing has not yet created the powerful salvation organization Glory of Humanity. But Liang Crossing is Liang Crossing after all. After all, it was the one who created Glory of Humanity in Su Lin's previous life and led mankind to break through the darkness and despair again and again. What's the matter? Looking at Su Lin's strange expression, Liang Crossing felt a little puzzled. It's okay, it's there. Su Lin also roughly told about what happened in Chaoshu City. It was mainly about the Thunder Eagle Kingdom and the current situation of Chaoshu City. In other words, this Thunder King, called Lei Tao, is ambitious. Yeah. Then what do you think is the probability that he will attack Chunfeng City? This Su Lin was stunned. In his memory, Lei Tao had never attacked Chunfeng City. But now that the situation has changed so much, who knows if he will come? Especially when Lei Tao knows that he has deceived and fooled him. At the same time, he also knew that he was here. Su Lin shuddered and shook his head. I don't know. Then I can only pray that he doesn't come. Liang Crossing rolled his eyes. It felt like Su Lin must have concealed something again. Perhaps he had already provoked Lei Tao. By the way, whether it is Yan Wu or Lei Tao, as long as they have superpowers, they will create this or that salvation organization. Seeing Liang Crossing's expression was a little dazed. Su Lin immediately asked back. What about you? Me? Yes, if you also have superpowers? Do you want to create a salvation organization? This Liang Crossing was stunned. She really hadn't thought about this possibility. After all, Su Lin smiled. You also know my situation. Although this small farm has no worries about food and drink, I'm afraid I will stay here forever. And I don't plan to absorb too many people. The suffering of others has nothing to do with me. Liang Crossing was silent for a moment and looked at Su Lin. It's hard for me to answer you, but Liang Crossing sighed. I really want to go to the outside world and see if I can save more people. Although there are some villains with ulterior motives, you can't just throw away a bowl of porridge because of a bad apple. Yes. Su Lin nodded. This is the Liang Crossing in his memory. She cares about the world, treats people gently, and is kind and amiable. It is precisely because Liang Crossing's character is kind. So in the last life, she shared the few remaining foods with Su Lin and Su Yue. In the case of food shortage, she still sacrificed herself for others. Of course. Liang Crossing lowered her head. I will always. Hey, stop. Su Lin suddenly said. No need to be so sad. No matter what you do, I will support you. Just stay here. You can leave when you want to, or stay when you want to. Of course, you are welcome here at any time. I'm a person who is mainly afraid of trouble. But cooperation is still possible. Anyway, follow your heart. Ha ha ha. Liang Crossing was stunned. After a moment, he smiled. Yeah. Thank you, Su Lin. If possible, I would like to go out for a walk tomorrow to see the situation in Chunfeng City. Just pay attention to your own safety. Besides, you are also free to do whatever you want. Just remember that this is always your home. Yeah. After dinner, perhaps out of guilt, Liang Crossing rushed to wash the dishes. Seeing Liang Crossing like this, Su Lin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Then I'll go to bed first, and you should rest early too. Yeah. Back to bed. Su Lin thought of Liang Crossing's embarrassed look with shame just now, and felt a little funny. If possible, he also hopes that Liang Crossing will go out and try his luck. At least create the glory of humanity. This way, more humans can be saved. As for Su Lin, he sat up from the bed and looked out the window. In the darkness, there were only sunflowers and pea shooters swaying in the wind. It seemed like a peaceful time. I don't plan to go out, Liang Crossing. You are kind by nature, and I am dark by nature. You just haven't experienced the despair to the end. You just don't know how dark human nature can be. You just go ahead and be the sun-like existence, and me, I will hide in the shadows and protect you silently. Su Lin has made up his mind. If Liang Crossing really created an organization like Glory of Humanity, he would definitely cooperate with it and help it. If someone has bad intentions towards Liang Crossing, then Su Lin would definitely dig up his ancestral grave. Chapter 85. Long-awaited leisure time. A good night's sleep. Perhaps the guests are coming. Su Lin also got up early. When he rubbed his sleepy eyes and walked down the stairs, Liang Crossing had already woken up. Oh. So early? Yeah. I want to go and see now. Here. Su Lin threw a key over. What is this? My beloved little motorcycle, hahaha. Then you won't go out today. Yeah. There may be guests coming later. Guests? The kind that come to fight. Are you causing trouble again? And, you gave me the car keys. Aren't you afraid that I won't come back? No. You're not that kind of person. When you leave, I'm afraid you'll have to cook a table of delicious meals. That's right. I just happened to cook breakfast. Can we eat together? Okay. It's so happy. I'll have your midnight snack and your breakfast. You're just a talker. The heart-to-heart talk last night did not break up the relationship between the two. Instead, it brought them closer. In fact, Liang Crossing has always had such a feeling in his heart, a vague feeling. Especially seeing the cruel scene outside reported on TV. In addition, seeing and hearing the ghostly appearance of Yan Wu and Lei Tao, two superpowers who were originally capable of saving more people. Finally, after Su Lin's guidance, the vague feeling gradually became clear. Indeed, Liang Crossing, she did not want to stay in the farm all the time. Eat and wait to die every day. She watched Su Lin go out, either with injuries, or with a happy face. She either ate and slept and ate, and then watched TV. She didn't have to do anything. It was precisely because of this. When she saw the hell-like scene reported on TV, Liang Crossing, who felt guilty, suddenly had a different idea. Fortunately, after Su Lin's straight bull enlightenment, Liang Crossing also found her mission and her vocation. After breakfast, Liang Crossing also stood up. Wait. Su Lin called her. What? Get some dry food and drinking water so we can get going. Su Lin handed over a small backpack. Thank you. I think I still need to warn you once. You've been here for too long, and you don't know what the outside world has become. Remember, you can be kind, but don't be a saint. You can help others, but make sure they are not ungrateful. It doesn't matter if your backpack is stolen. There's not much food in it. You don't need to force yourself to get it back. Safety first. Then come back safely to me. Do you hear me? Su Lin, who was nagging, had a sense of dominance. Liang Crossing was stunned. After a while, she chuckled. Hahaha, you are like my parents. Did you hear that? Okay, I heard it. Then I'm leaving. By looking at Liang Crossing's back as he left, Su Lin also silently said, Liang Crossing, I wish you good luck, and I hope you can quickly make human glory. It's been a long time since he got up early. Plus he didn't have to go out today. Su Lin was relaxed. After pouring a glass of milk, he collapsed on the sofa, watching TV bored. It would be great if there was coke. I don't know if there are any plants that can make coke. I must fuse them out and extract them. Unlimited coke, cool. Otherwise, beer will do. This is the best Versoils in the world. The situation outside is in dire straits. Su Lin still wants to drink Coke. The various news scenes that appear on TV in turn, compared with Su Lin's current comfortable life, Su Lin plans to turn off the news and stop watching. It's embarrassing to watch it anymore. But he still bites the bullet, trying his best to suppress his empathy and analyze the news reports on TV. At this time, the first mutated creature that kills humans has appeared, and cannibalism has already occurred. There are countless people who starve to death. After the efforts of experts, a method that can barely fill the stomach under the current circumstances has finally been developed. That is to prepare the food by roasting for 1 hour. Then cover it in the soil for 2 hours. And the soil has to be hot. To put it bluntly, it is beggar's chicken. Then, it must be eaten within 10 minutes. In this way, the radiation damage in the food will be eliminated. At least after eating, there is a great chance that you will not vomit and have diarrhea immediately. The emergence of this way of eating beggar's chicken has greatly saved mankind. Of course, the radiation damage still exists. It's just that the beggar's chicken way of eating has greatly reduced the radiation damage. Su Lin kept switching TV channels. He wanted to know the situation in other cities so that he could prepare for the future. Gradually, many companions woke up. When they rubbed their sleepy eyes and came down, they all looked at Su Lin sitting on the sofa with surprise. How is it possible, Su Lin? Still here? I said I won't go out today, I guess. Su Lin shrugged. After hearing this, the companions also felt that the sun was rising from the west. When can we see Su Lin in broad daylight? After sighing, everyone went to prepare breakfast. Xiao Hong and Xiao Wang were still very excited when they went downstairs, and there was a hint of nervousness in their excitement. But when they saw Su Lin on the top of the stairs, they were terrified, as if they had seen a ghost. Su Lin, hey, Xiao Wang, Xiao Hong. Su Lin waved his hand and greeted. Ha, Su Lin, why are you here? Su Lin frowned after hearing that. He felt a little uncomfortable. The way other people asked was the kind of confusion with curiosity. But Xiao Hong and Xiao Wang were the kind of people who were surprised and blamed. Yes, that's right. Su Lin heard the meaning of blame from their tone. This is my home. What's wrong with me here? Su Lin, who was a little unhappy, also emphasized his tone and directly refuted it. Xiao Hong and Xiao Wang looked at each other and scratched the back of their heads embarrassedly. It's just that I hardly see you during the day, and I feel strange. Yeah. Su Lin nodded expressionlessly, and then ignored the two of them, and continued to watch the TV in front of him. The two looked at each other. After shrugged, they came to the kitchen absent-mindedly. The expressions on their faces suddenly showed a little disappointment and helplessness. After exchanging glances, the two seemed to have decided something. These two people are really strange, sneaking around, and I don't know what they are doing. Su Lin didn't notice the eye contact just now. He just thought that these two people were a little strange. Chapter 86, My Family Situation. After the friends finished their meal, they all sat on the sofa and watched TV silently. It was indeed a bit boring. But compared to the dire straits of life on TV news, this boring was still tolerable. After watching TV, several people went to work. The so-called busy work was just to kill time. The farm of LV18 has become a manor. Su Lin had no time to check his manor before. During the day, he would go out to collect materials. At night, he would wait to deal with zombies. How could he have time? Su Lin, who was free, also walked out of the door, stood outside, and looked at his manor. Big area? It's hard to say. In the front, there are 40 pieces of land where plants can be planted. Next to it is a long fence. These fences surround the entire manor. It is about 1 meter high. The fences are full of various cables. If you are not careful, you may be electrocuted. Back then, these fences were only a dozen centimeters high. As the farm level increases, they also rise to heaven. In time, they may become towering walls. Continue to protect this farmland. Passing the fence in front of you, there is still farmland. Surrounding the house is a narrow piece of land. After all, there are not many pigs, sheep, chickens and cows to raise. There are just some trees planted there. There is also a small pond on the right. To be precise, it should be considered a swimming pool. After all, there are not many fish in it. Push open the door and walk in. Needless to say about the first floor. A spacious hall. TV, sofa, chairs, computers, everything. Next to it is the kitchen and dining table. The second and third floors are all inhabited. The first to enter, Su Lin, Su Yue, Liang Crossing and Lin Xiaoyan, all live on the second floor. The rest are on the third floor. As for the fourth floor, this is Su Lin's first time on the fourth floor. When he came to the fourth floor, his mouth almost dropped in surprise. There are only a few rooms, but there are KTVs, game rooms, gyms, and everything else. Oh my god. Su Lin's mouth twitched. When passing by the gym, Director Liu was inside, sweating, and Zhang Jiajie, singing. Xiao Hong and Xiao Wang were playing video games. Su Lin, Zhang Jiajie came out of the karaoke room. Come on, sing a song. This will be later. When did this appear? You don't know? I don't know. It appeared the day before yesterday. Your farm is really magical. There are some other changes every few days. Hahaha, yes, there is really magic. Su Lin didn't know how to explain it. You can't just say that it's because of the upgrade. By the way, where is Miss Liang Crossing? She's out. Oh, she doesn't usually come here. She always likes to stay on the 5th floor. 5th floor? Yeah, it also appeared the day before yesterday. I can't say what's going on up there. You can go up and take a look yourself. Yeah, okay. Su Lin nodded. He walked up the stairs. It's not as cheerful as the 4th floor. It's quiet. 2 rooms. A huge library filled with books. The other room is a huge computer room filled with various instruments and equipment. There is a huge computer in the center. Su Lin frowned and walked in. He fiddled with it casually. He found that a giant Earth map appeared on the screen in front of him. It was a holographic projection screen. Su Lin stretched out his hand and slid it in the air. The map also changed in various ways, zoomed in and out. Finally, it was fixed on Chunfeng City, and the situation in Chunfeng City could be clearly seen. I'm afraid this is not real-time projection, so if so, doesn't it mean that the situation of the whole world can be controlled in your hands? TSK. Turning the map in front of him casually, Su Lin felt more and more horrible about this room. It was like having a pair of God's eyes. But some places can't be seen. I think they should be connected to the satellite and the map of the invaded military base. In such a disaster, satellite maintenance has become a problem. But this is enough. This should only be seen by people at the level of national leaders. How can I be worthy of seeing these things? TSK. Then, Su Lin went to the library next to him. How can I say it? There are all kinds of books such as wild survival and farm planting. It is quite consistent with the current situation. Finally, when Su Lin was about to go to the 6th floor, he found that, although there was a staircase, there was a transparent barrier standing here. There was no way to move forward. Ding, please note that the level is insufficient, and the 6th floor is temporarily unavailable. Su Lin rolled his eyes. Since it is not available, why is there a 6th floor? Su Lin shrugged and returned to the 4th floor. He sang a few songs with Zhang Jiajie. Then he went to the game room. When he saw Su Lin coming in, Xiao Hong and Xiao Wang were stunned. Xiao Hong and Xiao Wang were both stunned. They instantly became nervous, as if they were guilty of something. Su Lin frowned and asked directly, am I so disliked? Are you so nervous when you see me? No. The two waved their hands. Xiao Wang repeatedly pulled Xiao Hong's sleeves. Xiao Hong was stunned for a moment, and then scratched the back of his head embarrassedly. It's not that. I rarely see you on the farm, so I'm nervous. Oh. Su Lin rolled his eyes. Is this the game room? Yes. Then you play. After that, the two of them pushed and grumbled and left here. Su Lin was a little depressed. Why did Zhang Jiajie invite him to sing with him? When he came to Xiao Wang and Xiao Hong, it was like seeing a ghost. Seeing the two of them like this, Su Lin lost interest. He immediately turned around and left, going to the gym. Director Liu was lifting weights. Seeing Su Lin coming, he immediately went to greet him. Su Lin, you're here. You're all sweaty from the exercise. Wow. Ha ha ha. Director Liu laughed. Look at those people outside. They are all running around to survive. And what about me? I eat and drink well, and I can exercise my body, and my boxing skills have also been further consolidated and improved. At this point, Director Liu's eyes were also shining with some light. Although the boxing gym can no longer be opened, but I can still continue to exercise and practice boxing here. For Director Liu, it is already a great blessing. How about, come and try. This weightlifting is 30 kilograms. You can definitely do it. Okay. But, Su Lin grinned. He actually wanted to know where his limit was. After all, Su Lin, who had undergone body training, his physical fitness was no longer that of an ordinary person. He directly filled the weightlifting bar. Su Lin, are you so wild? Even world champions don't have as many as you do. Chapter 86, breaking the world record easily. Just give it a try. Su Lin shrugged. He came to the weightlifting bar that was already stacked full. Su Lin took a deep breath, squatted down, and held the weightlifting bar firmly with both hands. Director Liu on the side also became nervous. He just thought it was Su Lin's playing. How could he lift such a heavy weight? A full 600 kilograms. You know, the world record is only 500 kilograms. Director Liu was already standing behind Su Lin. He was afraid that he would accidentally sprain his waist because of excessive force. 1, 2, 3. Su Lin gritted his teeth and exerted force suddenly. He almost sprained his waist, but it was because of a wrong judgment. Su Lin, who tried his best, lifted the weightlifting bar very easily. He staggered a few times and almost fell. He used too much force and retreated again and again. Director Liu behind him was so scared that he was ready to hold Su Lin's waist. No need. Su Lin yelled and then threw the weightlifting bar heavily. Bang. If it weren't for the cotton cloth underneath, the floor would have been smashed. The first and second floors shook even more, like an earthquake. Wow. Director Liu was stunned. Su Lin, when did you become a strongman? 600 kilograms. You lifted it just like that? It's all your fault. Su Lin rolled his eyes and touched his waist. Blame me? Yeah. What world record did you say? I almost sprained my waist. Huh. I mean. Su Lin shrugged and came to the weightlifting bar again. This time, he squatted down with great ease, stretched out his hands, and easily lifted the weightlifting bar again. I thought it was heavier. I used all my strength just now. I sprained my waist because of the excess of force. Director Liu was stunned, not only because of what Su Lin said, but also because of what he did. Su Lin lifted the 600 kilogram weightlifting bar up and down so easily. It was just like lifting a small dumbbell. How can it be 600 kilograms? What's impossible? Su Lin shrugged. I can still do it with one hand. Su Lin directly changed to one hand to lift it. It was really hard to use only one hand. The blue veins on his arm were slightly bulging. Well, it's that simple. Su Lin put the weightlifting bar down. So I almost sprained my waist just now. Not because I couldn't bear the weight, but because I miscalculated and used too much force. Who knew it would be so easy? Seeing Su Lin's relaxed look, Director Liu was silent for a moment. Suddenly, he felt that he could do it. He could do it. He had no problem. He mustered up great courage and came to the weightlifting bar. Since Su Lin could do it so easily, there must be something wrong with the weightlifting bar. Yes, that's right. It must not be 600 kilograms. He took a horse stance, bent slightly, and stretched out his hands. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Fuck. Director Liu let go and left the weightlifting bar, not moving at all. Sure enough, it was a 600 kilogram thing. After confirming it, Director Liu also stared at Su Lin in amazement. What are you doing? You're looking at me straight. I like girls. Go away. I want to ask, what on earth is hidden in your thin body? How can you have such great strength? It seems that 600 kilograms is not your limit. HMM. Su Lin shrugged. Maybe you ate some food affected by radiation, and your genes mutated. I'm so envious. Let's go. Practice? No, I just came to see what's there. Su Lin waved his hand, and when he was about to leave, he looked at Director Liu and asked in a low voice, Director Liu, what's the situation with Xiao Wang and Xiao Hang? Director Liu raised his eyebrows, and for a moment he didn't know what Su Lin meant. I feel that they are weird, as if they are afraid of me. Maybe it's because I can't see you all the time. Director Liu explained, they are my students in the gym. They have been with me for some time. They don't talk much, and they are not very active in training. Instead, they like to flirt with the female students in the gym. After the disaster, they are the only two who are willing to follow me. I also feel a little strange recently. When they see me, they are not as respectful as before. It seems that they don't dare to see me. Director Liu pursed his lips and shook his head. Maybe it's because they are afraid of strangers. After all, it's a new environment, and your farm is full of endless magic. Ha ha ha. Director Liu laughed. He was very satisfied with this farm. It was the kind of place where he would live as long as he could. Even if there was no disaster, he would continue to live here. Maybe. Su Lin shrugged. Since he couldn't ask anything, he had to leave the gym helplessly. After walking around and knowing the situation of his own home, he was also confused about the prospects of this farm. He didn't expect that it had entertainment functions. While ensuring the lifeline, he could also have fun and kill time in his spare time. I really don't know what kind of surprises this farm will bring in the future as the level increases. According to the previous inference and the feeling the system gave me, I'm afraid it will really become a huge castle with everything in it, enough to accommodate many people and at the same time ensure people's food, clothing, housing, transportation, and various entertainment activities. Time passed quickly. After lunch, Su Lin began to be bored and dazed. On ordinary days, he would go out to find synthesis materials. But today, damn it. Su Lin cursed and came to the window. Looking out the window, is this Zhang Xianming coming or not? As the saying goes, I'm not afraid that he won't come. I'm afraid that he will mess up. For a moment, Su Lin didn't know whether he wanted Zhang Xianming to come or not. I got up early in the morning and stayed at home, not because I was afraid that he would come. But they haven't come yet. Are they playing tricks on me? Damn it, if they dare to play tricks on me, I'll go find them tomorrow. But Su Lin was just talking. At this stage, he was only invincible here on his farm. Once he went to the outside world, Su Lin shook his head. He still didn't want to think about it. His home was safe. His home was safe. Outside, they were all superpowered people using various superpowers to bombard. What could he do with them? I really don't know when. I can use the ultimate move of plants casually outside. Su Lin shrugged. If there really was such a time, he would be so happy. No matter what Vulcan Fortress or Thunder Eagle Kingdom you are, I will beat you up if I don't like you. Just when Su Lin was daydreaming, there was a little rumbling noise outside the door. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 88. A visitor arrives. Su Lin narrowed his eyes. Although the system had not sent any prompts yet, however, he still heard the vibration from the ground with his keen hearing. Su Lin looked at the people in the living room. Stay here. Don't come out. There are guests coming. I will go to greet them. After that, Su Lin walked out of the door directly. Under the sunshine, there was a thick smoke not far away. Go straight from here. There is a broken ground. Even Su Lin's small motorcycle has to be careful and turn around to get out safely. Not to mention that Zhang Xianming came here with the army. Those tanks and armored vehicles are already a troublesome thing. After thinking again and again, the division commander also asked all the soldiers to get off the armored vehicles and walk forward. For this long journey to the suburbs, the soldiers were confused. They didn't even have enough food, and they were still thinking about what to do. But the duty of a soldier is to obey orders. They have no choice. They just didn't know whether it was going to be a drill or whether there was an enemy to defeat. Moreover, they felt very unfamiliar with the middle-aged man in a suit standing with the division commander. According to gossip, it was this middle-aged man who said he was going to come here. Brother Xianming, is this the place you mentioned? Yes, division commander. I forgot that vehicles can hardly enter this broken place. It's okay, I'll ask the soldiers to build a road bridge. Let's go inside and take a look first. The division commander looked around. He didn't quite believe that such a barren place would have the large amount of supplies that Zhang Xianming said. If he hadn't known Zhang Xianming for a long time, he would have fallen out with him. Okay, this way. Zhang Xianming nodded. The division commander looked behind him and left some people to help build the road bridge so that the armored vehicles and tanks behind could come over. At the same time, he also led 100 or so well-equipped soldiers towards the farm, not to mention the bulletproof vests on them. They were fully armed, each holding a submachine gun, a small pistol, and 2 sharp knives. They also had several grenades on their bodies. There were even 2 soldiers who didn't have backpacks on their backs, but rocket launchers. People who didn't know would think they were some elite team going to perform some important mission. When Su Lin saw them coming from a distance, he kept smiling. Finally here, if this goes on, I'm going to become a wife-waiting rock. Su Lin pulled out a bench casually and sat directly outside the fence. He looked relaxed. If he had melon seeds in his hand, he would probably have started eating them. Zhang Xianming, who was walking at the front of the team, also found Su Lin at the first time. He frowned. Why is Su Lin sitting at the door? Forget it. Whether he is here or not, he will die today. I must make him pay the price. Division commander. After muttering, Zhang Xianming also looked at the division commander beside him. That's it. Oh, why don't I remember? There's a manor here. It looks pretty big. Who's the person sitting at the door? Is it Su Lin? Oh. The commander nodded, feeling that this person looked familiar. Hey. As the distance shortened, Zhang Xianming also started to curse. Su Lin, come and die quickly. Su Lin sneered and casually put everyone who had entered the range into the blacklist. Now they just waited for his order. The plants would launch an offensive like a storm. Oh. Who did I think it was? It turned out to be Zhang Xianming. What? You're here to die again? I saved your father and son's lives last time, and now you're still looking for trouble without fear of death. Give you face? Su Lin's simple words made Zhang Xianming choke. Before Zhang Xianming could refute anything, the commander on the side grabbed him. You are Su Lin? The commander said with his chest straight. For a moment, the aura was released. There was a sense of majesty. Yes. Su Lin smiled. He wanted to see what this division commander could say. I heard that you have supplies here. So what if you have them? So what if you don't? What does it have to do with you? You. After being choked, the division commander just gritted his teeth and didn't get too angry. He could even speak in an orderly manner. Just answer yes or no. None of your business. You. Great, you ungrateful brat. Granted. Alright then. Su Lin shrugged. There are no supplies here. So what? We should go search. Why? Because we are the army. Army? It was fine before, but now. The order of the town has collapsed, so don't be so self-righteous. So what if there are supplies here? I still have friends to feed behind me. I can't just watch them die. Want to rob? Are you soldiers really sure you want to do this? Su Lin's few words made the division commander speechless. Rob? How could it be robbery? The division commander was a little panicked. After all, his identity is here. Soldier, that is the spoken word for protecting the people. Why are you doing this now? But Zhang Xianming doesn't care about this. If the division commander is embarrassed and dare not admit it directly, then he, a businessman and an ordinary person, was not affected at all. He put his hands on his hips and looked heroic. Su Lin, don't you understand? The commander is concerned about the world and wants to collect supplies and gather all these supplies so that they can be better distributed to those in need. It has come to such a critical moment. How can you still be like this and only care about yourself? Zhang Xianming stood on the moral high point and tried to morally kidnap Su Lin so as to help the commander break through his inner entanglement. At this critical moment, we naturally need to work together. Look at what you have done, taking all the supplies that belong to others, other people who are still starving and trapped, and let them starve to death. This time, we are here to enforce justice. We must save more people and cannot let you monopolize the lifeline alone. Seeing Zhang Xianming speak so generous and righteous, Su Lin rolled his eyes and said, I don't trust you, you old man. Why, you still want to be the army of justice? I gave you face? You are shameless. It's obvious that he wanted to rob it and occupied it all. No. The division commander was a little anxious. The soldier on the side grabbed the division commander and said, Division commander, that person seems to be the one who made trouble in our military camp the day before yesterday. Chapter 89. First contact with the army. What? The division commander stared at the soldier in front of him with wide eyes. Really? It should be true. This is the video footage from that time. Let me see. The division commander took the phone and took a closer look. Although it's a little blurry, it's really him. The division commander swallowed and glared at Su Lin fiercely. Su Lin, where did you go the day before yesterday? Su Lin raised his eyebrows. I think the division commander must have discovered that the person who made a big fuss in the military camp was him. In this case, Su Lin shrugged fearlessly. Yes, it was me. So what? I just wanted to find some weapons to use to protect myself. Just that. The division commander said angrily. Just that, you blow up the entire research and development base and then made a big fuss in my territory? Yeah. No. It seems that there is no need for us to continue negotiating. Nonsense. There is no need at all. Since you have made it clear, I will tell you directly. Su Lin sneered and said, why don't you think about why I was waiting for you here early in the morning? It's because I heard your conversation with Zhang Xianming at the military base. I knew you were coming early in the morning, and I also knew the purpose of your coming here. And you are still acting like a gentleman here? After these words, the division commander and Zhang Xianming were both ashamed. It felt that their sneak attack plot accidentally became a loud plot. His own little tricks were firmly grasped by others. But now that the words have been spoken, there is no need to hide them. After the face was torn, the division commander felt a lot more relaxed. Yes, that's right. I just want to occupy your territory and take away all your supplies. I still have countless soldiers to feed. The upper level, the town government has long been unreliable. Other cities, the soldiers have rebelled. If I hadn't worked so hard to suppress the soldiers below, Chunfeng City would have been a mess. That stupid Qiu Yang. Qiu Yang is the mayor of Chunfeng City. When distributing relief supplies in the city center before, he also gave an exciting and deceptive speech. Damn. I get angry when I think of him. After the performance of the relief supplies distribution activity a while ago, how much supplies did he secretly occupy? It's obvious that one person can't eat it all in a lifetime, but he just refuses to give it to us soldiers. What a dishonest man. That idiot Qiu Yang. If it weren't for me, Chunfeng City would have been in chaos. Yesterday I went to him to ask for some supplies, but he chased me away. Su Lin, after I've dealt with you, I'll definitely go to Qiu Yang for trouble. Perhaps it was because Su Lin had directly picked on him, or perhaps it was because of Su Lin's big fuss the day before yesterday. The division commander finally stopped hiding. Stimulated, he even had a big explosion and exposed everything about himself. Su Lin was a little scared when he heard it. What's the matter? Mayor Qiu Yang, it turns out to be such a person. But division commander? I don't know your name yet. Lu Fiang. Oh hello, division commander Lu Fiang. Su Lin smiled. He already knew what kind of person this Lu Fiang was. Hypocrite. At the beginning, he kept saying that he cared about the world and came to collect and distribute supplies for the sake of others. Then it became that he couldn't afford to support his soldiers and couldn't maintain the order in Chunfeng City. In the end, he was tricked by Mayor Qiu Yang. What's going on? Going around in circles. Is it possible that Lu Fiang is planning to rely on these soldiers to directly rebel, overthrow Qiu Yang, and take charge of Chunfeng City himself? Naturally, there will be another bloody storm. Su Lin frowned. He really hates this kind of person. A hypocrite who swears and says one thing but means another. All the words going around in circles are just to satisfy his own selfish desires. But they are so high sounding. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but think of Lei Tao from the Thunder Eagle Kingdom. Lei Tao is different. Although they both want to be the king of one side, it is obvious that Lei Tao is directly making it clear. Yes, I want to be the king. and save the people of the world. Whoever stops me will die. Okay, Commander Lu Fiang, I won't say much. Since you have decided to come, you must know my attitude and be ready to conquer this place with force. Su Lin shrugged. Then come on. Su Lin, I have heard that your plants have magical powers. I want to see it today. After saying that, Lu Fiang has already picked up the pistol. Is my bullet faster, or your plants are more powerful? Ha ha ha. Su Lin laughed. But he has wisely stood behind the nuts in the 8th row. Only idiots would stand there and become gun targets. At the same time, when he noticed the arrival of Zhang Xianming and others, Su Lin had already renovated the plants in the farmland. The plants standing at the front of the 8th row, of course, are nuts. After all, the opponent this time is fully armed with real guns and live ammunition. Only under the long-term protection of nuts. The plants in the back row can act spontaneously and attack continuously. As for the plants in the 7th row, Su Lin arranged melee plants, such as vegetables and kiwi. The 6th row is frozen lettuce, electric green tea, and dragon grass. As for how to arrange the regional positions, it is not so important. The attack range of the plants during the day is not divided into regions. As long as they are close enough, even the plants in Area A can attack Area E. The 5th row is all torch crowns. With torch crowns, the 4th row is naturally all pea shooters. In the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rows, Su Lin chose plants with long-range attack capabilities according to his mood. Let's not talk nonsense. Since you plan to attack here, come on. I don't know who will die by then. Come on. With the order of Division Commander Lu Fiang, the soldiers behind him all took action. They held submachine guns and looked at the plants on the farm vigilantly, always keeping a certain distance and moving forward slowly. It seems that Zhang Xianming has also provided enough information. Let the soldiers know that Su Lin is not powerless to fight back. If they are not careful, I'm afraid that these soldiers will be taught a lesson by the plants. Avoid those yellowish barriers in front and attack in a roundabout way. Lu Fiang narrowed his eyes and made his own judgment based on the situation on the scene. But unfortunately, even Su Lin himself did not expect the next situation. Chapter 90 Nut Defense. Bullets sizzled out of the gun barrel like a rainstorm. Just when Su Lin felt helpless. After all, everyone could see that there must be something wrong with the nuts in the front row that could withstand the bullets. Instead of doing this, it would be better to bypass the nuts and attack the big house in the back row. Su Lin would do the same thing. But when he heard a series of bangs, ding, a flying bullet attack was detected. Ding, the 8th row of plants are nuts, and the nut defense is specially activated. Ding, please note that the nut defense can only be triggered when it is under a flying attack and there are nut plants in the front row. Nut defense? Su Lin, hiding behind a nut, frowned. He didn't know what the system meant for a while. Soon, he knew. The bullets coming towards him suddenly turned a different track. Originally, they were going to bypass the nuts and shoot straight at the big house behind them. But all these bullets made a detour and flew towards the nuts. It was as if the nuts were a big magnet, attracting the bullets. There were a few ding-ding-ding sounds. Although the nuts were hit by bullets, they were also unscathed. There were just several bullet holes on their bodies. This, let alone Lu Fiang. Even Su Lin was stunned. And he also learned the meaning of nut defense from the system's introduction. It turned out that as long as there were any bullets, missiles, or even flying props such as fireballs. In addition, there were nuts planted in the 8th row area. No matter which direction the opponent attacked from, they would be attracted by the nuts. Thus, they would lose their initial attack target and attack the nuts instead, attacking the nuts with extremely strong defense. Ha ha ha. Su Lin laughed. God help me, soldiers, I didn't expect that you all know gunfighting. Su Lin sneered. How can we shoot? Keep shooting. Spread out. Stop attacking that khaki thing. Hearing Lu Fiang's order, the soldiers had no choice but to do it. But no matter where they stood, no matter what posture they used, and in what direction they attacked, all the bullets would take a long detour, as if they were absorbed by a black hole, and hit the nuts directly. It was really a gunfighting technique that could make bullets detour, but the soldier's target was not the nuts. Although it was visible to the naked eye, bullets shot at the nuts could also cause damage to them. Just look at the large area of pits on the nuts to know. I'm afraid that if you keep shooting at the same nut, it won't take long to successfully destroy a nut. But how could the plants protected by the nuts just sit there and wait to die? Especially for the long-range attack plants that had long entered the attack range. If Su Lin hadn't thought about seeing how the nuts could perform in such a rain of bullets, he would have let the plants pour out long ago. Now, the results achieved far exceeded Su Lin's imagination. Moreover, Su Lin grinned. Coincidentally, there was a nut. Because it was attacked to the greatest extent, half of its body was gone. In a precarious situation, it might die after being hit by a few bullets. Su Lin waved his hand, and after extracting it into the material for reinforcing the house, he planted another nut with a wave of his hand, a brand new nut without any damage. Su Lin didn't have to worry that the gap between extraction and planting would be taken advantage of by the soldiers. Even if there was only one nut in the 8th row, it could attract all the firepower. Seeing this situation, the soldiers were all stunned. The finger on the trigger seemed to have lost all the courage and dared not to pull it. What was going on? I worked so hard. Finally, I was about to kill one of the plants. How come there is a brand new nut now? Question mark? Then what were they working so hard for? Fighting in vain? Question mark? The soldiers never expected that what awaited them was not only the brand new nuts protecting the rear. There were also the plants in the back row, which had already accumulated enough anger to vent their attacks. After confirming the defensive capabilities of the nuts, Su Lin no longer hindered the plants' desire to attack. The plants that vented their anger were like wild horses that had broken free from their reins. Among them, all the plants in the 6th row and the long-range attack plants in the back row entered the attack range. The first to attack was the pea shooter. Its cheeks bulged up, and with a puff, several peas were vented out. The first thing to come out was its ability Pea Burst. With a few puffs, when the peas passed through the torch tree crown, they were naturally stained with flames, transformed into flame peas. Although the plants were planted in the same row and the same area, the attacks of the plants in the back row would not affect the plants in the front row. It was more like a ghost body that penetrated through and then attacked the targets in the front row. Just like now. After passing through the frozen lettuce, vegetables, and nuts, the flaming peas came to the soldiers. Bang! When the first flaming pea hit the soldier, Lu Fiang finally realized that something was wrong. Although the flaming peas did not directly penetrate the soldier's body. In addition, the bulletproof vest on the soldier has already protected the soldier very well. But the soldier was directly knocked out. Flames also ignited on his body. He had to struggle and roll on the ground, trying to put out the flames. When the flaming peas hit the soldiers one by one, they were all knocked out. After falling to the ground, they had to continue to endure the attacks of the plants. The soldiers standing relatively forward were baptized. The blue flames of the fire dragon grass, the small ice cubes of the frozen lettuce, and the sizzling power grid of the electric green tea. Under the two worlds of ice and fire, they had to endure the thunder. The most unlucky soldier, after being knocked to the ground by the peas, was first hit by small ice cubes, and frost gradually appeared on his body. Then, the dragon grass attacked like a dragon's roar. This is not a flame that the flame peas can compare to. If the flame peas are just a small fireball, then now it is setting fire to the mountain. The soldier turned into a fireman. He rolled around, and after being struck by lightning, he turned into a black and charred body that could not move. Completely silent. The soldier who was farther away, although he escaped the attack of the plants in the 6th row, could not escape the long-range attack plants in the back row. Chapter 91, Kaleidoscope Offensive. After the pea shooter's continuous pea attack, the soldiers were waiting for the cabbage and boomerangs that were flying in their faces. Although it seemed that the cabbage had no power, it was thrown so hard by the cabbage shooter and accurately hit the soldiers' heads. When it fell from the sky, the lucky ones were just knocked unconscious. The unlucky ones, with a bang, the head was tilted 90 degrees. The spine snapped and broke. The unlucky guy fell to the ground, as if he had lost his soul. Dita, Dita, Dita. Lu Fiang commanded loudly, don't always stand in the same place. Hide, hide, hide. Damn it. Go. He was cursing and had been hiding beside a tree trunk for a long time. It's safe here. Although it's safe, he was already sweating profusely at this time. It was all cold sweat caused by fear. What's going on? Those ordinary plants planted in the farmland. Once it attacks, it becomes like this. Question mark? Fire? Question mark? Ice? Question mark? Lightning? Question mark? Peas? Question mark? Cabbages? Question mark? These are not magic. Question mark? Am I dreaming? Question mark? Lu Fiyang gritted his teeth fiercely, trying to wake himself up a little. In anger, he even pulled Zhang Xianming next to him. Fuck. Is this the plant you mentioned? Yes. Zhang Xianming also looked scared. Didn't you say it was just a plant that would attack? How did it give me a double world of ice and fire? I don't know. It wasn't like this last time. Zhang Xianming's lips trembled. Panic was written on his face and his body. Actually, it couldn't be Zhang Xianming's fault. Last time he came with his son Zhang Xianhu. He only brought some hooligans. To deal with these, the pea shooter is more than enough and can beat them back step by step and dare not move forward. But against the army, obviously, Su Lin intends to go all out. In addition, the new plants he has obtained in recent days have helped most of the plants complete the advanced. The strength has been greatly improved. Today is different from the past. Damn it. Lu Fiyang put Zhang Xianming down viciously. If at the beginning, he was just embarrassed and fooled by Zhang Xianming, so he planned to rob the house. Then now, after the new and old hatreds came together, it has become a personal grudge between Lu Fiyang and Su Lin. All soldiers, retreat. Retreat to a safe area. With an order, the soldiers who had been beaten to a pulp would naturally not miss this retreat opportunity. After getting the chance, they all retreated in a flash and hid far behind the tree stumps. As for the dark bodies of comrades on the ground, who can deal with it? Once they get forward, the plants will launch a fierce attack. Only the big tree stump in front of them can give them a little sense of security. At the same time, Lu Fiyang also discovered a problem. Whether intentionally or not, once the soldiers moved away and kept a certain distance, the plants were like silenced. They no longer attacked. In addition, they were planted on the ground and could only stand upright in the soil and could not move. In other words, if you keep a safe distance, it will be fine. In addition, these plants cannot walk. Then, after swallowing his saliva, Lu Fiyang issued a new order. Everyone, find a safe distance where the plants will not attack and continue to attack after finding shelter. Yes. With an order, the soldiers also began to grope. But seeing this situation, Su Lin couldn't help grinning. Since the last time his home was stolen by Yan Wu, he has made full preparations for foreign enemies. Just like now, where is the safe distance? He has calculated the attack distance of all plants, and based on this attack distance, all the shelters blocking the roadside, such as stones and trees, have been flattened. Yes, flattened. In other words, if you want to hide behind the cover and attack the plants, it is absolutely impossible. Of course you can hide, but in this way, the hit rate will be low, because the distance is too far. They are all stray bullets. After sacrificing several soldiers, Lu Fiyang also discovered this problem. Either launch a suicide attack like a heroic sacrifice, or hide behind the tree trunk, pull the trigger, and attack randomly. Whether you can hit it depends on luck. Damn it. If that's the case, Lu Fiyang gritted his teeth. Everyone, hide behind the tree trunk. Fire suppression. Use up all the bullets for me. As long as you use up all the bullets, there will be food, and you will never be hungry again. Under the temptation of food, the soldiers' morale was rekindled. They all hid behind the tree trunks, stretched out their hands holding submachine guns, and bang 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 passed by. The bullets all whizzed away. Anyway, the enemy is in that direction. Just shoot. This is simply a blind cat catching a dead mouse. After all, the manor is right in front of us. Just attack. Whether we can hit it or not is another matter. And the nuts standing in the front row naturally attract many bullets. Seeing that the opponent took this approach, Su Lin couldn't help rolling his eyes. What he was most worried about was this situation. The enemy relied on the terrain to shoot at him fiercely. They can advance and retreat, but he can only passively defend. However, Su Lin grinned. Since Yan Wu attacked, he has not only made sufficient defense preparations for this kind of foreign enemy attack. At the same time, after learning about the terrifying effect of the golden beans, he also considered the plants he had during the day. At the same time, he discovered a very wonderful place. If the plants at night are more like the state in Plants vs. Zombies, then during the day, these plants are free. They belong to Su Lin, and Su Lin can do whatever he wants. After a sneer, Su Lin chose to plant again. Yes, even when the farmland was fully planted, he still chose to plant. Cherry bomb. The red cherry appeared in Su Lin's hand. It was bright red and looked delicious. Now, just throw the cherry bomb directly, like a grenade. But Su Lin didn't plan to throw it himself. He didn't know the exact location of the enemy. Let's leave it to the cabbage thrower. Cabbage thrower plus cherry bomb. Su Lin took off the cabbage on the handle and put the cherry bomb in his hand down. With a puff, the thrower threw the cherry bomb directly. Then boom. Accompanied by miserable screams. A burst of gunpowder smoke. Several soldiers were killed on the spot. Several soldiers had broken arms and legs, struggling on the ground in pain. Chapter 92. Heavy weapons. Incoming attack. This is exactly what Su Lin has been tossing out recently, the freedom that belongs exclusively to plants. In fact, it is the cooperation between plants. Just like now, cherry bombs can be planted directly. Su Lin can also throw it out and explode directly. But firstly, there is the problem of distance, and secondly, the enemy's position is unknown. It is better to hand it over to the cabbage thrower. If the thrower only throws cabbage, it will not be that far away. But this time it is not cabbage, but an external cherry bomb. Su Lin has calculated that the distance is super long. It can be said to be the farthest attack distance in the manner. Now, those soldiers who think they are safe are unlucky. Attack. Keep attacking. Damn it, if it doesn't work, throw a grenade to me. Lu Fiying cursed. Division commander, the distance is too far. The grenade can't be thrown. Then how can Su Lin throw it? Stinky idiot. Lu Fiying raised his foot and kicked on the tree stump. Although what I saw just now was a red toy, but seeing such destructive power, Lu Fiying naturally regarded it as a grenade. It was still the kind of grenade with amazing destructive power, but Lu Fiying couldn't understand. Why was Su Lin still able to throw it from such a distance and accurately hit his soldier? Pew pew poo. Boom boom boom. Although it was a bit boring to not see who the cherry bomb exploded, Su Lin still yawned while planting the cherry bomb. He placed the bombs on the thrower one by one. Like a catapult, it left a perfect arc in the air and exploded. In an instant, it was a bloody mess. Damn, it's no good. These bombs may have eyes. Retreat, retreat, retreat. Lu Fiying waved his hand. If this goes on, it will only be sacrificed in vain. It's better to retreat first and find an opportunity to attack again. In the end, everyone retreated to the broken arm cliff with a crack. Nearly 200 people went on this trip, but only 100 or so came back. Nearly half of the soldiers died on the front line. Damn it. Lu Fiying gritted his teeth. It's okay to sacrifice so many people, but it didn't cause any damage to the manor. Question mark? This is what makes Lu Fiying most unhappy. Once the nuts in the front row are destroyed, after an explosion, another brand new nut appears in front of him, plus the unique ability of nuts to attract bullets is endless. The only way is to concentrate firepower and destroy all nuts at the same time and continue to attack before Su Lin plants again to break through this manor. How can it be done? Question mark? Humph, I will make this impossible possible. Lu Fiying glanced to the side and the tanks and armored vehicles that had been transported over. Just now, due to road problems, they had to build a bridge to allow heavy firepower to reach the front line smoothly. Now all the heavy firepower has arrived. Everyone. Lu Fiying looked at the soldiers. Now we must ignite morale again. After all the soldiers are covered in dust. In the past, the drills and battles were all against human soldiers. Why are we so defeated against plants now? Question mark? And there is only one enemy, but there is no way to defeat it. I know you feel the same as I do now. I didn't expect things to turn out like this. Unknown enemies, unknown means of attack. These are all mysterious and unknown. and it also caused us great consumption. Our brave soldiers were all defeated by those unknown plants. But now it's different. Tanks, armored vehicles, and our heavy firepower have all been delivered. We are invincible. We are humans. They are just ordinary plants. Defeat them. Seize them. Take back the supplies that belong to us. The food is right in front of us. I declare that the first warrior to break through the line of defense can eat as much as he wants. Grab, grab, grab. Under the temptation of eating to their heart's content, the morale of the soldiers was ignited again, and their eyes were all dyed with green, glowing green desire. The soldiers who had been hungry for a long time just wanted to have a full meal at this time. Even eating those plants raw is no problem. Let's go. An order was given. The reorganized army also took a step and rushed towards the direction of the manor. And what about Su Lin? He naturally knew this was at most a temporary repulse. He also guessed that those armored vehicles and tanks were only temporarily stopped. The army must have a way to transport them. Then just wait. After shrugged, Su Lin ate while holding the bowl and chopsticks, waiting for the army to come back. If I'm not mistaken, those poor soldiers are still hungry. TSK. If you ask me, the army should cooperate with those people with superpowers. Those people with superpowers can ensure that the soldiers are well fed as much as possible. At the same time, the army also has absolute strength to help those people with superpowers get what they want. The cooperation method that Su Lin mentioned will appear frequently in the future. It's just that at this stage, no psychics or the army have reacted. In fact, it's just the simplest way of taking what you need and making up for your shortcomings. The fighting will be almost over later. Let's see if we can get them to surrender. Otherwise there will be no one to clean up the corpses all over the ground. Shaking his head, Su Lin has already thought of the best method of persuading surrender. Just move the food out. It will make them full. After the corpses are cleaned up, just get out of here quickly. From a distance, Su Lin also saw wisps of black smoke coming. The ground was shaking. He knew today's biggest enemy is here. He walked forward fearlessly, even through the front row of nuts, and came to him in front. Looking from afar, rows of tanks, rows of armored vehicles loaded with countless missiles. When they reached a safe distance, they all stopped. Then a man walked out. It was Lu Ying. He came directly to the manor, in front of Su Lin, without any panic. It was as if he knew that Su Lin would not attack directly, and Su Lin also gave him enough face. He suppressed the attacking desire of the plants. What? Are you going to provoke me first? Su Lin sneered. You also give face. The plants don't attack me. Are you controlling them? When two armies are fighting, they don't kill the messengers. Tell me, Commander, do you still want to persuade them to surrender after all this? Chapter 93, Traitor. First appearance. Smart. You are worthy of it. Lu Ying nodded with satisfaction. As soon as the battle starts, your mana will be raised to the ground. This is inevitable, but you also know what my purpose is. Once it affects our supplies, I can't explain it to these soldiers, who are fighting bravely. Oh, so determined? Su Lin sneered. He didn't take Lu Ying seriously at all. You are just an ordinary citizen. Naturally you don't understand that under such heavy fire suppression, no matter what kind of steel and concrete you are, you will be turned into nothingness. Such a movement of the army. Naturally, it has attracted the attention of the people in the house. Several people leaned against the window and watched the current situation, especially the soldiers' rounds of shooting and the roaring explosions. They all made several people nervous. I don't know if they don't want to be crowded with the crowd. Xiao Hong and Xiao Wang, the two of them deliberately bypassed the crowd on the first floor, came to the second floor. Looking at the fully armed army, they couldn't help trembling with fear. The army, the guns in those soldiers' hands should be real. Xiao Hong swallowed his saliva. Nonsense, they must be real. But Su Lin is really good. He can repel them like this. What kind of magic are these plants filled with? Who knows, but now tanks and armored vehicles are here. I feel that this place is not safe. No way. I saw Su Lin still talking to that soldier. It seems to be in an orderly manner. Humph. Xiao Wang rolled his eyes. If you ask me, he couldn't help but lower his voice when he said this, as if he was worried that someone would overhear. This Su Lin, He only knows how to cause trouble. Look, last time, the people from the Vulcan fortress came over, and this time, it's the army. Yeah. Do you think we should do the same as before? Xiao Hong hesitated. It seems that this plan is carried out in secret, and it is not a very good plan. Otherwise, he would not have such a sneaky expression. Although we have plenty of food and drink here in Su Lin, I always feel like I have nothing to do. It's like being a caged animal. Besides, Xiao Wang sighed helplessly when he said this. I just want to bring my parents here. Yes, this Su Lin has directly cut off our chance to bring our relatives and friends. Let's eat and drink here. How can we face the people who are suffering outside? And our presence here is too low. No, we can't always be suppressed by Su Lin. I wanted to join the Vulcan fortress, but it's better to join these soldiers now. But what if Su Lin defeats them? That's impossible. Look, there are so many heavy firepower. Even if Su Lin really defeats the army, we can leave here. Now go to the refrigerator kitchen and take all the food and drink. Okay, anyway, I'm with you. The two showed a look of mutual respect. The two people who were in cahoots with each other began their actions. Carrying a big school bag quietly, they began to exploit the refrigerator. Anyway, as long as they can eat and drink, no matter what, they should take it. I don't know who gave them the face to do such a thing. If Su Lin hadn't taken them in, the grass on their graves would probably be several meters. And now they have their own other plans, which is actually betrayal. But they also started to cross the river and destroy the bridge. Shameless to the extreme. Like Liang crossing, although she also had other plans. But she also discussed it with Su Lin. In the end, it was with Su Lin's encouragement. Liang crossing took the first step. More importantly, Liang crossing never thought about betraying Su Lin from beginning to end. Xiao Wang and the others had a different mentality. They sneaked away the food. However, such a token of allegiance is really very suitable under the current situation. The biggest difference between them and Liang crossing is, Liang crossing wants to go out, set up a new business, and save more people. Xiao Wang and the other two were thinking about themselves from beginning to end. If Su Lin knew about this, he would probably vomit 3 liters of blood in the venue. He raised an ungrateful wolf this time. But Su Lin didn't have the leisure time to pay attention to these 2 ungrateful wolves at this time. What was in front of him was a big difficulty. Lu Fiang didn't plan to continue to argue with Su Lin. There was no point in talking more. But in order not to directly blow up the supplies he had been thinking about, he also gave a special order. Try to attack directly with cannons first. If you can take it down, there is no need to use tanks and armored heavy artillery. I saw several soldiers coming. They all carried the RPG rocket launcher on their shoulders. Su Lin, die. Lu Fiang waved his hand lightly. Several rocket launchers BIU rushed to the manor. Su Lin twitched his mouth, although he was mentally prepared for the heavy firepower of the army. But when he really faced it, he couldn't help but panic in his heart. You know, in Su Lin's impression, RPG rocket launchers are used to deal with airplanes, tanks and armored vehicles. It is the only weapon that a person can use to deal with these big guys. Now, he is just a manor with some plants planted. Such treatment is too boom. Under the firmness of the nut, no matter what trajectory these rocket launchers use to move forward, they will be directly attracted by the nuts, just like gravity. But when the smoke cleared, Su Lin's heart was about to break. 5 nuts in 5 areas were directly blown up and affected the 3 plants in the 7th row area. In fact, Su Lin himself was prepared. When the rocket launcher exploded, there were several small explosions indirectly. It might not be the ability of the nut explosion, but there was no enemy in front of the nut, so it just exploded in vain. It seems that only a few rocket launchers are needed for the nut to be unstable. And once the defense of nuts is broken through, the consequences will be disastrous. Isn't it like letting a tiger go back to the mountain? Question mark? Su Lin waved his hand and chose to plant nuts again. There is no other way. Among the plants on hand, the one with the highest defense value is nuts. Ouch. Lu Fiang sneered. Finally broke through the defense of that unknown thing in front of me. Ha ha ha. Su Lin, this is only the first round of offensive. Even though you can replant immediately, what can you do? As long as my artillery fire continues and sends you a continuous barrage of artillery fire, you can only mend the fold after the sheep have been lost. It's too late. Chapter 94. The Golden Bell, Iron Shirt. Looking at Luffy Ying's arrogant look, Su Lin just rolled his eyes. What's the hurry? He just wanted to see if Nut could withstand the power of the RPG rocket launcher. Since there is no way to resist it, it's nothing more than another way. Su Lin sneered and took advantage of Luffy Ying's attack instructions. He took the lead in using the trump card. The trump card can only be used 3 times a day. Golden beans. And Su Lin also used this precious opportunity on Nut. Since knowing the wonderful use of golden beans, in order to deal with the army's attack this time, he also used golden beans yesterday. He used it when he had nothing to do, in order to see the effect of plants after using golden beans. If, at night, when using energy beans, the yellow nuts will directly transform, put on a set of metal armor, and become more indestructible. And at this moment, what will happen to nuts after using the golden beans during the day? When dealing with the fortress of the god of fire before, Su Lin had used the golden beans on the frozen lettuce and the fire dragon grass. It felt like Su Lin was suddenly able to freely use the unique power of plants. It was like the plants were parasitizing Su Lin in turn. But nuts were different. It was not that Su Lin suddenly put on armor and became indestructible. It was that after Su Lin used the golden beans on nuts, the sky suddenly went dark for a moment, and a huge black shadow fell directly down. Before Luffy Ying could react, this huge black shadow fell directly on the manor. When the smoke cleared, the black shadow finally revealed its appearance. It was a clock that was rippling with a faint golden light and was somewhat transparent. An extremely exaggeratedly large clock. This big clock directly enveloped the entire manor. Hey, come on, Luffy Ying, let me show you the power of the Golden Bell and Iron Cloth Shirt. Golden Bell and Iron Cloth Shirt. This is of course a random name given by Su Lin, but it is not wrong. Because this big bell is just as it appears, tightly protecting all the plants inside. Fire, Luffy Ying said viciously. He doesn't care about that. Just shoot first. Swish, 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 bang, bang, bang. When several rockets hit the big bell, only bursts of black smoke spread out. How is it possible? Luffy Ying twitched his mouth. As a soldier, he knows the power of the RPG rocket launcher. But no matter whether it is a copper wall or an iron wall, no matter what kind of titanium alloy you are, although it may not be able to destroy it directly, it will not leave no trace like now. Question mark? It seems that the rocket launcher is for massage. Question mark? Go. Tanks, rockets, armored heavy artillery. If there is any artillery fire, bomb them to death. Luffy Ying, who was so angry, gave an order. Prepare to encircle and wipe out Su Lin directly. He was so angry that he didn't care whether it would directly destroy the supplies he had been thinking about. At this time, he just wanted to find Su Lin as soon as possible. For a while, it was like the new year. No, this was a scene more lively than the new year. The heavy firepower troops led by Luffy Ying, all of them were like crazy shooting at the big clock. Yes, it was a shooting. It was really hard to imagine that tanks, rockets, and armored heavy artillery, this kind of heavy weapon troops, which usually can make the enemy scream in pain with just one shot. There will be a day when they will attack crazily, as if they don't have to worry about wasting ammunition. Countless gun barrels fell to the ground with a thud. The gun barrels were even red and smoking due to continuous firing. Luffy Ying looked at the dense fog and smoke that gradually dissipated in front of him breathlessly. He just wanted to know, did Su Lin die in the explosion? Oh my, you guys are giving people a massage here? Along with Su Lin's sarcastic voice, the already standing big bell appeared. How is it possible? Luffy Ying was shocked and retreated in fear. Not only was the big bell not destroyed, but also because there was not even a crack on it. Under such a bombardment, no matter what kind of iron wall it is, it must be gone. What material is this big bell made of? And how did it fall from the sky just now? Luffy Ying, it's terrible. Let the soldiers go home and eat. It's already so late. Why don't you eat? There is nothing better than killing people. Su Lin, I don't believe it. Keep attacking. You must break this iron turtle for me. Luffy Ying stared at Su Lin with a covetous look. Since one round of attack can't break it, then come 2, 3, and 4 rounds. No matter how much it costs. Lu Fiyang is also determined to break this big bell. Anyway, for the army, what is in front of them is just a target. Although it cannot be broken at present, the other side has not fought back, and all the members just regard it as a military exercise. I'm just a little hungry, even if I'm blinded by anger. Lu Fiyang is still vigilant about the distance between him and the manor, and will not get too close no matter what, allowing the plants to attack at will. And Su Lin rolled his eyes, watching this counter-attack, that refuses to admit defeat. Stupid idiot, no matter how you attack, you can't break through the golden bell iron cloth shirt. Because this big bell, but it can defend against nuclear bombs. During the experiment yesterday, Su Lin chose nuts as the first plant. Because it was the first time to use it. The system also gave a thoughtful reminder. That is, the defense of this big bell is infinite. Even if a meteorite comes, and a nuclear bomb explodes, there is no way to break this big bell. The only way is to wait for time to run out. The big bell can only last for 15 minutes. Once the time is over, the big bell will dissolve by itself. This is the only way. It is impossible to destroy it from the outside. But it seems that, even if it cannot be broken, Lu Fiyang does not intend to give up. TSK, I thought you would retreat after showing the strongest defense, but it still needs some casualties after all. Su Lin threw the cherry bomb and placed it on the handle of the cabbage shooter. With a sound of BIU, the cherry bomb took off with the wind and flew towards the direction of the tank. Since it is impossible to retreat, don't blame me for being rude. Su Lin gently stroked the pea shooter next to him. Really? Pea shooter? The second golden bean was used on the pea shooter. At the same time, this was also an experiment Su Lin had done before. A green light fell from the sky and enveloped Su Lin. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 95, Giant Pea Rapid Fire Gun. To be honest, Su Lin really didn't like this way. A green light descended from the sky and enveloped his head. Was it a hint that he was cheated? Although Su Lin didn't have a girlfriend yet, he was really uncomfortable. If Su Lin was uncomfortable, then Lu Fiyang and the others were terrified. After the golden light just now, a big bell with a very strong defense level was brought. It made everyone unable to attack. Lu Fiyang thought it was Su Lin's trump card. How come there is another one now? Question mark? It's still green. Be careful. Be careful. As soon as the voice fell, an explosion sounded. It turned out to be the cherry bomb that was just thrown out. With a boom, under the aim of the cabbage thrower, the cherry bomb rushed directly to the tank. With a bang, it directly destroyed a tank. And it also left a little cherry hidden underground, such a mine, waiting for some unlucky person to step on it. What happened again? Lu Fiyang was getting impatient. Why are there so many troubles? Question mark? After learning that it was another red grenade, Lu Fiyang could only curse and say, be careful, just shoot me to death. Turning around and preparing to go forward, he finally knew the meaning of the green light just now. Su Lin suddenly became Stallone, holding two green weapons that looked like machine guns. Moreover, he bravely walked out of the big clock. He came within the range of the army. Seeing that Su Lin finally walked out of the safe zone, Lu Fiyang was so excited. Shoot. Shoot me to death. In an instant, all the artillery fire was aimed at Su Lin. Of course, Su Lin would not be so stupid. He stood there like a mentally retarded person and let the artillery fire attack. He showed an aura of one man guarding the pass and 10,000 men unable to open it. The green machine guns on both sides of his hands fired wildly. Lu Fiyang didn't take it seriously at first. He thought it was just a machine gun at most. He didn't know where Su Lin stole the machine gun from and sprayed it like this. But when Su Lin really fired and the bullet got closer, he realized that this was not an ordinary machine gun. It was a machine gun with enlarged bullets. When Su Lin pulled the trigger, the ordinary bullet tube suddenly grew bigger. It was hard to imagine that something like a bullet tube would grow bigger without breaking. And, as the bullet tube broke, The bullet also spurted out. It was a green bullet, round like a fitness ball. Yes, a green round bullet. It must be half a person tall. It was simply an enlarged version of a pea. As the first bullet was ejected, the second bullet followed closely. In other words, when Su Lin pulled the trigger again and again, the bullet tube did not stop for a moment and kept changing with the bullets gushing out. When the first giant pea hit the tank, Lu Fiang realized the seriousness of the matter. What Su Lin had in his hand was more than a machine gun. It was clearly a continuous grenade launcher. Peng. With just one giant pea, a tank was shot through and exploded. The most terrifying thing was not the firing rate of this giant pea, but that Su Lin had two such weapons in his hand. This was exactly what would happen when the pea shooter used the golden beams. Pea shooters. 2 in total. There were 1,000 giant peas in each. Although the peas would not explode, no matter what kind of thing it was, it would be directly annihilated by the giant peas at this size and speed. Ha ha ha. Su Lin, who occupied the highest point and was shooting wildly, laughed even louder. This feeling was really great. Just stand in one place, put 2 pea shooters on your waist, hold them tightly with both hands, and pull the trigger. The giant peas will be fired directly. No matter who the opponent is, there is no chance to breathe under such a wild attack. The soldiers felt like they had encountered an avalanche. The avalanche was triggered by the green snowballs. Whenever they wanted to fight back, they would be swallowed up by the avalanche. Damn it. Lu Fiang cleverly hid behind a big tree. This is just a temporary safe place. Because in front of the giant peas, trees are nothing. Just crush them directly. Attack. Counterattack. Counterattack. Su Lin has already stood up. Don't be afraid. The army's counterattacks followed one after another, but the effect was minimal. Because whether it was the bullets fired by the tanks, the missiles of the rocket launchers, or the shells of the armored vehicles, the moment they came into contact with the giant peas, they would explode directly. And it will not cause any damage to the giant pea. At most it will temporarily slow down its sprint speed. In other words, as long as Su Lin continues to attack like this, no missile attack can reach him. It will only die halfway. Moreover, his giant pea will continue to fly past and cause damage to the enemy. In this way, the army has no power to fight back at all. It can only become a catfish that Su Lin lets slaughter. Su Lin also firmly grasped this opportunity to counterattack. He continued to attack without a breath. Fortunately, the pea repeater is not like an ordinary machine gun. Once it shoots continuously for too long, it takes some time to cool the barrel. It can shoot continuously. It has formed an absolute crushing advantage over the enemy in front of him. On this side, Lu Fiang, who was retreating step by step, was so anxious that he cursed. Damn, Su Lin, what kind of weapon is this? Division commander. It's no good. The soldiers can't hold on. The attack is too fierce. Otherwise, or else let's retreat first. No, I must kill this Su Lin. Lu Fiang looked so vicious that those who didn't know him would think that Su Lin had pried open his ancestral grave. What kind of blood feud would make him do this? Seeing Lu Fiang like this, the soldiers subconsciously stared at him closely with a weird look. That look was full of a little disdain and disgust. The soldiers who had other methods had already been in KO's camp, but their hearts were with Han. If Su Lin came out to persuade them to surrender at this time, he might have gained something. Just when Su Lin thought that he had a sure win and could defeat his opponent with 2 giant pea machine guns with a total of 2,000 rounds, he didn't expect that the manor behind him was on fire. The blazing fire instantly engulfed all the plants. Chapter 96, Traitor, Ghost. When Su Lin felt the blazing flames behind him, he quickly retreated back to the big clock. He put the 2 pea shooting guns aside. What happened? Why did it catch fire? Su Lin frowned, looking confused. At the same time, several figures rushed out of the gate. They were Xiao Wang and Xiao Han, and they were holding Su Yue hostage. Brother. Su Yue looked panicked. Maybe she wasn't panicking. She was originally following the others, leaning against the window, watching Su Lin's heroic fight. But when she didn't expect it, she was ambushed by Xiao Wang and Xiao Han. Everyone who had no defense was knocked out, including Xiao Wang and Xiao Han's boxing gym teacher director Liu. He controlled Director Liu, Lin Xiaoyan, and Zhang Jiajia with ropes. Then, he took advantage of Su Lin's exit from the defense range of the big clock. He poured kerosene on the plants and set them on fire. In order to escape smoothly, he even threatened Su Yue with a knife. Su Yue. Su Lin frowned and looked at Su Yue. Then he looked directly at Xiao Wang and Xiao Hang. What do you mean? Su Lin. My parents are still outside. I can't just sit there and wait for death. I have to save them. Save them? Is there any necessary connection with doing this? Su Lin took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. Although there are still foreign enemies and the flames are still burning. But, you must be calm enough to come up with a solution. From your appearance, it's impossible for us to take our parents here smoothly. And Xiao Wang interrupted Xiao Hang's mumbling. At this point, they had already torn their faces, so there was no need to complain. There is no freedom in this place. Su Lin, this is your territory. You are the eternal king. We are like being kept in captivity. Hearing this, Su Lin couldn't help rolling his eyes. But for a while, he didn't dare to take any action. After all, the short knife in Xiao Wang's hand was still very sharp. Is there no room for negotiation? No. What do you want to do? Look at the backpacks behind you. There should be a lot of food and drinking water, right? Su Lin sneered. At the same time, he increased his attention and stared at Xiao Wang's hands. If Xiao Wang really couldn't figure it out, then Su Lin would have to take out his pistol and shoot him at the critical moment. We are going to the outside world. My life is in my own hands, not in the hands of God. Oh, Su Lin seemed to understand. Is it because it is too delicious here? Xiao Wang and Xiao Hang are completely unaware of the tragic situation outside. They think that their pig pen life is not free. Little do they know. Their so-called pigsty life is what many people outside dream of. Then why did you kidnap Su Yue? We need this letter of surrender. Can you tell me who you finally decided to join? So that I can be mentally prepared. At worst, we can join together. Listening to Su Lin's words, Xiao Hang really opened his mouth. It seemed that he was about to say it. Unfortunately, he was stopped by Xiao Wang next to him. Xiao Hang, don't say anything. Su Lin is digging a hole for us to jump into. Then, Xiao Wang looked at Su Lin. The army behind you. The town government army is the orthodox one. I believe in the town government. I believe that they can help us live a normal life and can also find our relatives and friends. I want to be with them. Okay, you go. Su Lin narrowed his eyes and smiled. I will absolutely guarantee your safety, but at the same time, you have to guarantee Su Yue's safety, right? At this point, Su Lin slowly opened his eyes and looked straight at Xiao Wang. Even though he was full of anger at this time, he had to endure it. No, I've already said that she is a token of surrender. You either kill us here, or let the three of us go. Su Lin looked at Xiao Wang sternly. He knew that Xiao Wang was sure they were siblings, and he knew that Su Lin cared about Su Yue the most. In this situation, Su Lin really didn't dare to act rashly. Then what? Your method is just to cut off the dead end. Bring Su Yue to Lu Fiang? Haha. How do I know what Lu Fiang will do to my sister? Instead of letting my sister die in Lu Fiang's hands, it's better for me to find out with my own hands, don't you think? Leave a way out for others, so that we can meet again in the future. If you want to leave, then go. If you want to take some food, then take it away. I don't mind. But what if you hold my sister hostage? Why don't you give me a way out? Haha. Where in the world is there such a thing? Xiao Wang was also stunned after hearing this. Indeed, there is no room for negotiation, and the most that can happen is a fight to the death. Then when I get to the town army, I will release Su Yue. How can you guarantee that? Su Lin glared at him with a rare look. Su Lin, don't you understand? I have the right to speak now. Besides, the fire is still burning, and you have the town army behind you. You might as well surrender now. Su Lin sneered. He naturally knew that he had to put out the fire in front of him as soon as possible. Fortunately, he planted frozen lettuce. When the flames burned the frozen lettuce and burned it to ashes, the frozen lettuce will naturally turn into ice water and put out the current fire. Su Lin was waiting for this moment. Okay, you go. But, you must release my sister when you are about to arrive. Okay. A gentleman's word is as good as a horse. Hearing this, Su Lin rolled his eyes even more. What a gentleman. Su Lin glanced at Su Yue and nodded slowly. Su Yue also nodded tacitly. Su Yue knew that Su Lin would never abandon her. Now she just needed to adapt to the situation. As for Lu Fiang, they were wondering why Su Lin didn't take advantage of the situation to pursue him. Su Lin finally started shouting. Lu Fiang, I'm Su Lin. I have two people who want to surrender to you. And they've taken my sister as a hostage. I can let them go, and they have information from me. You can use it well. But there is a condition. Wait until they get to your side, and let my sister go. If you dare to attack her, I will definitely dig up all your ancestral graves. I won't let you go, even if I become a ghost. Chapter 97, Letter of Submission. Hearing such a shout, Lu Fiang was stunned. He really didn't understand. How could there be someone who would surrender? If it was really as Zhang Xianming said, there were a lot of supplies in this manor, so there must be no worries about food and drink. How could anyone want to escape from it? Could it be that Zhang Xianming was lying? Question mark? Or, there were not many supplies left inside, and it was not enough to support it? Question mark? Then what were they still busy doing here? Su Lin, don't lie to me. Lu Fiang's tone was full of distrust of Su Lin. I heard that you have no worries about food and drink inside. How could anyone want to get out from inside? After hearing this, Su Lin rolled his eyes. How did he know that Zhao Wang and Zhao Hong were crazy? Recently, he felt that these two people were a little strange. But in the end, he still didn't think about betrayal. In the end, someone took advantage of him. Don't mention how much he regretted it at this time. Why would I lie to you? Others want freedom. What can I do? Besides, they think you represent the town government and are the real regular army. What can I do? Humph, I don't believe it. Wait, I'll let them talk. Then, Su Lin looked at Zhao Wang and Zhao Hong. You can explain it yourself. Zhao Wang and Zhao Hong looked at each other for a moment, then nodded. They slowly walked towards Su Lin's direction, which was the edge of the big clock. When they walked around the sea of fire, they were so nervous that they didn't notice that the fire had begun to subside. It no longer looked like the raging flames at the beginning. The soldiers on the opposite side. Zhao Wang shouted loudly, I'm Zhao Wang, I've lived here for some time. I'm tired of living here. And Su Lin didn't give us freedom at all. We can't even see our relatives and friends. That's why we want to escape from here. Did you see the black smoke? We have set fire to Su Lin's plants. And we also took Su Lin's sister Su Yue hostage. The hostages are in our hands. We only have one request. When we get to the army, you can take us in, and also take in our relatives and friends. Especially our parents. At the same time, we also brought a lot of food. And we are very familiar with this manor. When we conquer this manor together, we can be your guide. Good fellow. Directly in front of Su Lin. Talking about the good life after conquering this manor, but there was no big emotional fluctuation on Su Lin's face. On the contrary, he was highly focused, looking at Zhao Wang in front of him vigilantly. He didn't have time to take care of Su Yue with a firm and gentle look. He wanted to find an opportunity to snatch the dagger from Zhao Wang's hand. But unfortunately, although Zhao Wang was negotiating with Lu Fiang, his attention was all on Su Yue, without any distraction. Hearing Zhao Wang's speech, Lu Fiang was also moved. Coupled with the thick smoke floating in front of him at the beginning, he believed everything Zhao Wang said. Then come on, Su Lin. I promise that I will not touch your sister, and when the two of them come over, I will let your sister go. This is just a means to prevent you from attacking these two people. Sure, no problem. Su Lin smiled. At the same time, he made a please go gesture and respectfully sent Zhao Wang and Zhao Hong away. Brother Su Yue, who was firmly controlled by Zhao Wang, murmured softly, it's okay, brother will save you. Definitely, definitely. Su Lin gritted his teeth secretly. He had made up his mind. He could ignore other people. These two traitors must die. He was finally reborn and obtained the Plants vs. Zombies system. He had already made up his mind to protect his sister Su Yue no matter what. But now, watching Su Yue fall into danger of life, and I can only watch this feeling helplessly. It is really too torturous. Seeing that they can leave, Xiao Hong also walked in front as planned, and Xiao Wang walked backwards, continuing to hold Su Yue hostage. Su Lin stared at Xiao Wang's every move, fearing that he would suddenly regret it. The fire was gradually extinguished. It can only be said that the fire asked for it. Once the frozen lettuce is burned to ashes, a ball of ice water will be poured on it. Over time, the flames were all extinguished. A lot of land was vacated. But at this moment, Su Lin had no way to plant, and he couldn't be distracted. Seeing that they were getting closer and closer to Lu Fiang, Su Lin's heart almost jumped into his throat. After a few deep breaths, Su Lin secretly warned himself that he must stay calm. If he was not calm enough, everything would collapse. Su Lin, who was highly focused, was ready to use the last golden bean at the critical moment. The golden bean that could save this situation. Soon, Xiao Hong and the others met up with Lu Fiang. Are you Xiao Wang? No, I'm Xiao Hong. Xiao Wang is in the back, holding hostages. Oh. Lu Fiang nodded. Come on. Congratulations to you. You have turned from darkness to light, and you have turned back. Ha ha ha. Lu Fiang laughed. The fire just now must have caused great losses to Su Lin. What's more, he now has the intelligence. He can further analyze the battle situation of this mysterious farm. Not to mention, he still has hostages in his hands. Let the hostages go. Don't even think about it. It's Su Lin's sister. I think Su Lin must cherish this sister very much. Lu Fiang will naturally not miss this opportunity. What gentleman's words. Don't kill civilians. Su Lin has killed so many of Lu Fiang's men. Victory is at hand. Just when Lu Fiang was so happy, Xiao Wang also arrived. Hello, Commander. You are Xiao Wang, right? But, well done, I'm Commander Lu Fiang. Yeah, this is Su Lin's sister, Su Yue. Xiao Wang pointed to the hostage in his arms. Commander, I have a plan. Su Lin attaches great importance to his sister. Why don't we use his sister to coerce him? Xiao Wang. Xiao Hong on the side was a little anxious. Our original plan was not to just hold Su Yue hostage and then let her go. Xiao Hong, what time is it now? Xiao Wang rolled his eyes. When doing big things, don't be too particular about small details. Just let Su Lin Kang surrender and use his life to exchange for Su Yue's. If not, don't blame us for being ruthless. Su Yue was completely confused when she heard this. She wanted to shout something, but Xiao Wang blocked her mouth. Ha ha ha. Lu Fiang laughed. I had the same idea. Great minds think alike. Not bad. Xiao Hong was embarrassed, but it was too late. Just as several people were excitedly discussing how to use Su Yue to threaten Su Lin, a cold current gradually came from behind them without their knowledge. Chapter 98. Su Lin's counterattack. How could Su Lin just sit there and wait for death? If Xiao Wang really let Su Yue go, then Su Yue would have to walk back alone, with her back facing Lu Fiang and the others. This kind of thing was originally unimaginable. As long as Lu Fiang ordered to shoot, what awaited Su Lin was only Su Yue's body, which would become a hornet's nest. Moreover, after having the hostage, Su Lin did not believe that Lu Fiang would let Su Yue go so easily. Therefore, Su Lin's backup was the ultimate move of frozen lettuce. After Xiao Wang left, and the flames gradually died down, he quietly planted a frozen lettuce. Unfortunately, when the ultimate move of frozen lettuce was used before, Xiao Wang and Xiao Han were present, and knew the power of this ultimate move. So in order to use it smoothly, Su Lin had been waiting for a perfect opportunity. When Xiao Wang and the others arrived successfully, and handed Su Yue to Lu Fiang. After all, after completing the task, people will inevitably relax for a moment. At the critical moment, he used the golden beans on the frozen lettuce. After the first time, Su Lin was more comfortable with it. He glared at it. The area where Lu Fiang was located became an ice cave. Whether it was soldiers, tanks, or armored vehicles, they were all frozen. At the same time, it also included Xiao Wang, Xiao Hong, Lu Fiang, and Su Yue. This 9 days of freezing is a regional ability. Su Lin had no choice but to freeze Su Yue together. Then Su Lin ran away with the P rapid fire gun. He rushed directly to Su Yue's location. Shoot. Shoot. Crazy shooting. There are only 22 seconds. Su Lin must rescue Su Yue within these 22 seconds. Bang, bang, bang. Poor Lu Ying had to watch his army being destroyed so wantonly by Su Lin in the ice. What tanks, rocket launchers, and armored vehicles. They all became big ice sculptures that could be slaughtered at will. Together with the soldiers next to them, they were all blown into pieces. Pulling the trigger and shooting wildly, Su Lin felt like an invincible Stallone. Just like that, at the 21st second, Su Lin had solved all the heavy firepower. Only a few people were left alive, and there were also a few soldiers. The soldiers were lucky. Su Lin had a trick up his sleeve and didn't do any harm to them. But the culprits were unlucky. Su Lin just wanted to torture them. 22nd second. There were a few crackling sounds. The ice broke apart. Lu Ying, who thought he was free, took a closer look. His 2 arms were gone. Not only him, Xiao Wang, Xiao Hong, and Zhang Xianming. The arms of the 3 of them were gone. In order to torture these people better, Su Lin naturally spared their lives. At the same time, in order to leave them no room for counterattack, he directly removed their arms. The giant P could not be counted on. He could only use his small pistol and shoot them twice to break their arms. The few people who became big ice sculptures felt no pain at all, and they didn't even know what happened. When the ice sculpture state was lifted, the blood on their hands had already coagulated into blocks. Only the heart-wrenching pain was left. Su Lin glanced at their heart-wrenching pain expressionlessly, and then looked at the soldiers who had also lifted the ice sculpture state. He had no grudges against the soldiers, and there was no need to be so cruel, but he still raised his pistol and pointed it at the soldiers. Don't struggle. I destroyed all your artillery, armored vehicles and so on. You only have guns and ammunition left. Do you want to contribute everything for your commander Lu Ying? Or surrender to me? I don't need you to compensate or apologize. Just clean up this place. There were corpses everywhere, and there were potholes. In addition, there were broken limbs of armored tanks. Let Su Lin clean it up alone. It's too miserable. Of course, I have a reward. Each person, half a month's worth of food. I will ensure that you will not die and evacuate safely, and you only need to promise not to cause trouble in the future. Of course, you don't have to worry about Lu Ying's revenge. After today, there will be no Lu Ying in the world. Su Lin had a stern face. Standing in front of more than 100 corpses, he was so calm, and he already had the qualifications of an executioner. But all this was forced out. Then Su Lin also took off his clothes and tightly wrapped Su Yue, who was also shivering with cold. Su Yue, I'm sorry, there was only this way at the time. You suffered. No, it's okay. Brother, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for saving me. Su Yue was shivering with cold. Say this. Su Lin rubbed Su Yue's head lovingly and whispered, you go back first. I'm still busy for a while. Let's go to the house. Okay, okay. Su Yue nodded repeatedly. Walking, slowly left. After sending Su Yue away, Su Lin breathed a sigh of relief. What was to come was going to be a very tragic scene. He didn't want Su Yue to face these things too early. Okay, what do you say? Su Lin looked at the soldiers who were still hesitating. The soldiers had already lost their fighting spirit. Although they also knew that, as long as they took out their weapons now, there was a great chance that they would kill the unarmed Su Lin in front of them. But, after seeing Su Lin's mysterious and varied plants, who would dare to attack casually? After looking at each other for a moment, a soldier bravely stood up and said, it's not that we don't believe you, but, I have to see you, right? After hearing this, Su Lin raised his eyebrows and understood it. He immediately walked to the side of Xiao Wang and Xiao Hong, who were still screaming. Xiao Hong saw this and was about to ask for mercy. Su Lin kicked him directly. It's not your turn yet. Then he took their backpacks and threw them in front of the soldiers. Along with the land, there were also food and drinking water in Su Lin's space backpack. These are the gifts for meeting you. We'll settle the matter after we're done. I can only express my deep regret for killing your comrades. After all, this is a war, and obviously, I won. Su Lin looked down at them, but his mumbling fell on everyone's ears. No soldier cared too much about what Su Lin said. They had already focused all their attention on the mountain of food in front of them. Su Lin rolled his eyes and said, if you want to eat, take it away and stay away from the battlefield. First, there are corpses everywhere and you won't feel comfortable. Second, it will be very cruel later. After that, Su Lin turned around and walked towards Xiao Wang and the others. As if they had received an order, the soldiers began to act. Chapter 99. Cruelty and Mercilessness. That look. It was just like a hungry tiger pouncing on its food. They devoured it ravenously, but they still retained the last bit of clarity in their humanity. It was just like what Su Lin complained about. They moved all the food and drinking water to the back, to a place where there were no corpses, and then began to eat. Okay. Su Lin stretched his body, looking at the poor creatures in front, who were still wailing all over the place. Let's settle the score. Su Lin. Zhang Xianming wailed in pain. If he had hands now, he would definitely grab Su Lin's trouser legs and start begging for mercy. But he had no hands. He struggled to wriggle, like a caterpillar. Please spare me. I won't dare to do it again. Peng. A shot. Su Lin fired without hesitation. This shot hit Zhang Xianming's thigh directly. Pain on pain. Zhang Xianming almost fainted. Take your time. Su Lin waved his hand and took out a military knife from the corpse of a soldier on the side. Then he grabbed Zhang Xianming's chin expressionlessly. Poor Zhang Xianming, without both hands, could not resist, so he had to let Su Lin hold his chin tightly and pry open his mouth. At the same time, he grabbed his tongue and watched Su Lin stretched out his hand holding the military knife and slowly stretched it towards him. This is to punish you. What are you punishing? Punish you for talking too much, you big tongue. As soon as the voice fell, with a puff, with quick eyes and hands, Su Lin directly cut off Zhang Xianming's tongue. Ah. Woo. 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 Ugh. Zhang Xianming rolled on the ground in pain, unable to say a word for a long time, and could only keep whimpering and screaming. Blood splattered and dyed Su Lin's clothes red, and Su Lin, like a devil from hell, revealed an extremely hideous smile. Okay, who's next? After standing up, Su Lin walked towards Lu Fiang with a step that announced his death. He is indeed a soldier. He can still stand up without both hands. But looking at him like this, he still wants to escape. Hey, Lu Fiang, it would be boring if you just run away like this. Su Lin cursed. At the same time, he fired several shots into the sky. He wanted to scare Lu Fiang, but it had the opposite effect. Lu Fiang ran faster. Oh, what a pity. I want a more flexible toy. Su Lin shrugged. He didn't know what Lu Fiang was thinking. Be good, wouldn't it be less painful? Why did he have to do it like this? Maybe. Lu Fiang thought Su Lin was just an ordinary person with poor shooting skills. That can only be said that Lu Fiang thought too much. Su Lin slowly raised his hand, and the moment he aimed at Lu Fiang, he shot directly. Peng. The bullet shot directly through Lu Fiang's heel. After a wail, Lu Fiang fell to the ground, but the desire to survive stimulated him. He kept crawling forward, wailing in pain, while crawling. Come and play, uncle, come and have fun. Su Lin grabbed Lu Fiang's other foot and pulled it back like a piece of rag. Su Lin, let me go. I'm a national soldier. It's the division commander. You are openly insulting the country and openly despising the government. Ha ha ha. Su Lin laughed and threw Lu Fiang in front of Xiao Wang and Xiao Hang. Insult? Despise? Where? Wake up. The order has completely collapsed. I can't say where, but here. I'm the king, the only king. After saying that, Su Lin stepped heavily on Lu Fiang's wound. He has many ways to torture his enemies. I won't offend others if they don't offend me. If someone offends me, I will dig up his ancestors' graves. Ha ha ha. Scream. Yell. Self-righteous. Su Lin vented his anger in his heart. The trampling footprints were constantly tearing apart Lu Fiang's self-esteem. He really wanted to die like this. At least there would be no more pain. Finally tired of kicking, Su Lin gasped. I'm really a little tired. What's wrong? Respected Lu Fiang, you're not going to die, are you? So Su Lin Lu Fiang, whose head was kicked into the ground by Su Lin, groaned, "I won't let you go, even if I become a ghosto." "Don't say that. Victory and defeat are common in the military. Of course I can let your soldiers go, but you, the instigator of the war, what's wrong? Still thinking of escaping? Haha, kill me, kill me. It's okay, don't worry, take your time." Then, Su Lin sat directly on the back of Lu Fiang's head. It seemed that he was going to suffocate him directly like this. Then he looked at Xiao Wang and Xiao Hong, who annoyed him the most. "Let me ask you a question first. I won't ask those boring questions, such as, are you doing me justice by doing this? You are free to do what you want. It's fine to cross the river and then burn the bridge. But I want to know, you all brought Su Yue to Lu Fiang just now, why don't you let her go?" Su Lin asked in a cold tone. There was no emotional ups and downs. It seemed that he was just asking about an ordinary matter. Hearing this, Xiao Hong seemed to have grasped the last straw to survive. He hurriedly said, Su Lin, it's not me. It's Xiao Wang. It's him. He also told me at the beginning that he was just kidnapping Su Yue, and he would naturally let Su Yue go after we were safe. But when he came to Lu Fiang, he changed his face, and he was really in cahoots with Lu Fiang. He planned to use Su Yue to make you surrender directly. It's really not me. Please, don't kill me, don't kill me. Xiao Hong had already burst into tears, with tears and snot flowing down mixed together, not to mention how cowardly he was. Su Lin looked at him expressionlessly. Xiao Hong, everything has already happened, understand? After that, Su Lin took out his pistol and pointed it at Xiao Hong. Bang, 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 bang. While skillfully controlling the route of the bullets, Su Lin skillfully suppressed the gun, avoiding Xiao Hong's fatal position, and all the shots were enough to torture him, but not to kill him. In this way, after firing more than a dozen shots and hitting the target, Xiao Hong, who was still howling, finally stopped moving, and Lu Fiang, who was under Su Lin's butt, had already suffocated to death because his mouth and nose were facing the ground and he could not breathe. Zhang Xianming, who was not far away, also lost his voice completely due to excessive blood loss while crawling on the way to escape because his tongue was cut off. In the end, the only annoying fly left was Xiao Wang. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.